What's up? What's happening? Mm. What's the score in the Jacksonville game, man? What's the score in the Jacksonville game, somebody? Oh, Jacksonville has the ball? Ah, salute to Jacksonville, man. Fighting, man. Turn turn the ball over 4 times in the first half, and they still this close, man. Salute to them, man. Salute to them, man. That's rough, man. What, second year quarterback? That's a tough hand to be dealt, man. Uh, how's everybody doing? Salute to Nate Ways, our Nation Hall of Fame, getting the ball rolling as usual. Rebecca Kaplan asked me to say hello to your feet. Listen, man, I for you, Rebecca, I'm gonna show you my feet one day. I just I gotta get them oiled up and looking nice though. And, and listen, man, I don't do shirtless op no more because these Pennsylvania winters ain't no joke, man. These Pennsylvania winters aren't no joke, Jack. I can't even go shirtless op for y'all, man. I think I might go to the Koreans and get a pedicure, man, so I can show my feet to Rebecca Kaplan, man. I gotta get a pedicure, man. I'm ashamed of my feet, man. I'm ashamed of life. I'm ashamed of myself, man, for having feet like that, man. I don't know how that happened, man. What's happening, man? What's happening, everybody? Um, mm, mm, mm. What's happening, everybody? We about to get into it, man. It's 11. Woo. Get started later and later every day, man. You know, you know what it is. You know what it is. Got a great show for you guys tonight. Got a great show for you guys tonight, man. We dropped this link, man. Salute to Mary M, man. Mary M, yeah, you know PA ain't no joke, man. PA gets cold, man. PA gets cold. PA is literally like the Northwest, man. I mean the Midwest. PA might as well be fucking Wisconsin, man. Sometimes, man. Who do you, lovely Mary M, man? Um, yeah, let me drop this link, man. Let me drop this link, man. We get started, man. It's a lot going on, man. Yeah, PA cold. It's snow. We had snow flurries today, but it was like it didn't even stick. It flurry. It's you have snow flurries like you have drizzling. It's like a drizzle. Up here, man. Yeah, man. It's like a drizzle. CA says, "Op gangs are home, taking over homeless in California and making them pay rent to set up tents and force them to use their rents. I mean, their tents for human trafficking." I think those are Latino gangs doing that, man. That sounds like Ombrito. That sounds very sophisticated, man. That sounds like Ombritos, man. That sounds like Ombritos to me, man. Um, let me put this in, in let me put this in the yeah, man. I got a great show for you guys tonight, man. I mean, I think, I'm biased, but I think it's gonna be a fantastic show, man. I got me a little nappy nap in too. When I get my little nappy nap in, man, I got me a little nappy nap. I'm feeling rejuvenated, man. Uh, nah, nah, nah. Uh, what's up, Mayo?
What's going on, man?
Ain't nothing, man. I'm hanging in there, man. I'm gonna eat one more chip and then I'm gonna get started. I promise you, this is the last one.
Yeah, I see the Klan has now been activated in the Northwest Territories.
Well,
Kinda.
Biden was right. I mean, the biggest threat to national security is white men. And this proves it.
Well, see that study they always point out. If you read the forward on that study, it actually states their use in that study of right and left
Mm-hmm.
are not the defined definitions of U.S. politics, right and left.
Mm.
Like the guy who shot the cops in Dallas, the pro-black guy in Dallas, they consider that right-wing violence because it's anti-government.
Micah X. Micah X.
Yeah.
Salute
Yeah,
to
they
Nate
consider
Ways,
that
man.
right-wing violence because it's anti-government.
Salute to Nate Ways, man. Nate Ways showing up, man. We need people to match Nate Ways' energy, man. If you're happy, you know it. Hit the cash app. If you're happy, you know it. Hit the super chat. If you're happy, you know it, and you really want to show it. If you're happy and you know it, hit the super chat. Um, Here we go. We got NYC Glatterman in the house, man.
I've got an Airbnb party for you in Iowa if you want to check it out.
Put it in the back chat.
Presented by the sheriff.
Deputies hope this new surveillance video will help them in solving a murder. A 39-year-old dad was shot and killed, and now deputies are hoping someone knows something about who the shooter is.
Deputies said it happened outside a restaurant last month along South Boulevard near the intersection of US 441 and Sand Lake Road in Orlando. News 6's Lauren Cervantes is following this story for us live tonight. And Lauren, you spoke with the owner of the restaurant who the victim came out of.
Yeah, I spoke with the owner, and he says he's concerned because the shooting happened in the parking lot just outside of his restaurant. And it's this security camera right here that caught two individuals that deputies are now asking for your help identifying. And in that video, they were seen at one point behind these bushes and then in this parking lot.
I'm a family member. I'm a Haitian. The guy who was shot, he gets shot and killed, is a Haitian. It's my blood.
Dorelis Pierre, owner of La Belle Caribbean Restaurant, commenting on the death of Edson Faustin, who deputies say was shot in the parking lot after walking out of Pierre's restaurant. The Orange County Sheriff's Office is putting out this security camera footage in the hopes someone can identify two people caught on camera, one of them the murderer. Deputies point out this man in an orange Armani Exchange shirt.
I need to find out who he is. I want to see if anybody can see the way that he's walking, his gait, his stance, his mannerisms, or even his face. I think that he might be involved in some way.
The video shows the man leaving La Belle and walking over to his car, deputies describing it as possibly a Honda Accord.
On the right of the screen right now by the bushes, you're going to see two individuals low crawl. One of those individuals is going to be my murderer.
Deputies say the man in the orange shirt starts his car without issue and then pops the hood of the car. Deputies saying this may have been a stall tactic or distraction until the victims walked out. Then the victims are seen in the parking lot.
He closes the hood. It may be a signal to alert the two would-be robbers that they're approaching. My victims are approaching. And he very nonchalantly gets in the vehicle. And he stays in the vehicle
Damn. Yo. Marcy, man, what you do in that situation, man?
Well, if I was the either one of those guys, just be scanning. Just scanning for anything that's out of the ordinary. If you see a guy working on a car, like I work on my own truck, so if I see a guy working on a car, I probably go up to him and ask him, "Hey, need any help?" But even if I did that, I'd still be just scanning everything and see if anything's out of the ordinary. That's the first thing.
Let me tell y'all, man. Salute to Jerry Judge Hines, man. He says, I'm a black Brit member living and watching from Singapore. Love the truth bomb vibe. Salute black British dude and living in Singapore. That's what I'm talking about. Shout out to you, man. You over there with them tigers, man. You living a sun man's dream, man. So about an hour ago, I'm downstairs playing with my daughter, and I hear banging on the door. And I go to the door. I mean, I keep my screen door locked, so you can't even touch my door because my screen door is always locked. And I look through the window because I got a little window in my door. And then some guy told me is this such and such address? Blah blah blah. I'm like, nah. This is blankety blank address. And he says, I found a check, man, and I'm trying to return the check. And he's like showing the check, and I'm like, nah, man. Like, nah, I'm talking to him through the door. Nah, you got the wrong address. He was kind of like, well, do you know where it is? Which way? I'm like, it's well over that way or that way, right? And I was
you need a Ring doorbell, Ock.
No, but I was like, I'm not opening the door.
He's going to go door to door until he gets somebody to crack that door open.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm 6'3", 300 pounds. I keep a blade on me. I hit like a mule kid, and I'm still not opening the door. So to you ladies, that tells you, man, if I won't open the door for that shit, ain't no way in the world y'all should open the door. I was just thinking about if my wife had been there by herself. But she said she wouldn't have opened the door. So yeah, man, you got to be vigilant at all times, man. Sunman you never know. And that guy may have had good intentions. Maybe he was really returning. I don't know. I watched him as he went to other houses and like on the block and trying to knock on the door. So I was like, all right, maybe he really is returning the check, but I'm not opening my door. Hell no.
Deputies saying this may have been a stall tactic or distraction until the victims walked out. Then the victims are seen in the parking lot.
He closes the hood. It may be a signal to alert the two would-be robbers that they're approaching. My victims are approaching. And he very nonchalantly gets in the vehicle. And he stays in the vehicle as the two people are getting robbed directly in front of him, right in front of his windshield. He's observing this. He's witnessing this. He's obviously asking for the bag. They give him the bag, they throw it on the floor, they surrender it, and they still get shot.
Deputies say another victim.
Wow. Some man still shoot you. Some man still shoot you, man. Even if you give it up. Damn.
The guy in the car just drove away, never called 911, never did anything.
And that's why you shoot, Ock.
What do you mean never called 911? What are you talking about, Glider? What are you talking about? Never called 911.
The guy in the car didn't call the police. That's what he was talking about.
Oh, that guy. Yeah, well, how do you know? You don't know, but you don't know that. But
because the cops are still looking for him, Ock. That's how I know.
Okay, well now, well, yeah. I mean, that's a good point. That's a good point. But I mean, well.
Victim was also injured in the shooting. At the time, that person was listed in critical condition. Deputies have not updated us on that person's condition. They're asking anyone who might be able to identify the two in the video or who knows something about this shooting to contact them. For now in Orange County, I'm Lauren Cervantes, getting results, News 6.
The theft and robbery of Air Jordans has been happening for decades, not just in New York City, but across the country. It's happened again. A teenager is the victim. He was left unconscious on the sidewalk.
The theft of Air Jordan, they're still doing this shit. They're still stealing people's Air Jordans in 2023.
Yeah, but they stomped this kid unconscious.
Well, that's what they've been doing that.
Yeah, that's nothing new.
Listen,
At least
man,
they
I've
didn't
been
kill him.
stomped out.
I mean,
I've been
at least
stomped
they
out.
didn't kill him.
I didn't lose consciousness, but I've been stomped out, man, by a bunch of Negroes, man. That shit happens, man. This was 1992. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, things happen, man. And then again in 2007, man. You get into some shit with Sunman, man. They definitely gonna pile on you, man.
Broad daylight in Manhattan.
Broad day. Both mine was broad day.
On Broadway in Manhattan.
Both mine was broad daylight. Both of mine was a broad daylight. Major areas. One was outside of a train station in 1992. The other one was like on a major avenue in DC, a very notable, iconic avenue. It happens, man. That shit happens, man. That's part of life, man. When living under the sun, man.
Hey, how's a big guy like you get stomped out?
Easy. The dudes, listen. First of all, Sunmen hit hard, right? Then Sunmen know how to fight. Like, you understand, like they know how to fight. Like, they not like novices at fighting. They're good at fighting. And then when you get a bunch of them together, sometimes you just gotta, after a while, you just gotta curl up and go to hell, man, and protect your vital organ, man. And then sometimes they knock you down. I mean, listen, man. I'm just trying to tell you, Marcy, like it's real out there, man.
And dude, honestly, 6 13-year-olds could take the average man down. I mean, that's just the way it is.
I've never been stomped out, so I just figured I'd ask.
Yeah, man. I mean, look, man. I mean, it's no shame in it to me. It was shame at the time. Now, at the time, it was shame and anger. You know what I'm saying, and all that stuff. But as an older guy now, I can talk about it. It is what it is, man.
The theft and robbery of Air Jordans has been happening for decades, not just in New York City, but across the country. It's happened again.
And I wasn't always this big. I didn't get to 300 pounds till I got into like my late 30s. I was walking I was 215, 220, 230, 200. Even at 22, I was like 175. Like I'm not like I just got this weight on me as I got older.
Again,
that's what it was. I thought when you said when you gave you dimensions, I thought you were just a big guy. When you gave you dimensions, I thought you're always a big guy.
I mean, I was always the same height.
Yeah.
But as far as the weight, no.
A teenager is the victim. He was left unconscious on the sidewalk. 3 suspects seen in this NYPD issued photo, all wanted for a brutal beating and robbery. The victim, police say, a 16-year-old boy. His attackers left him unconscious on the sidewalk and then stole his Jordan sneakers.
And no one helped the kid.
Nina heard about the Saturday night assault in front of this McDonald's in the Hamilton Heights section of Manhattan. She was not shocked to hear about any of it, including the suspects stealing the victim's sneakers right off his feet.
No one did anything. I think that's the biggest issue. We need to work together within the city.
We spoke with the teen victim's father at their home Thursday night. They declined to speak with us for this story. But law enforcement sources familiar with this case tell us the victim and his friend initially got into an argument with the suspects down the block at the Riverbank State Park ice skating rink.
Hear a lot of things like that every day. It's been happening for years.
These teens tell us these days, taking someone else's shoes after a fight is often considered a prize.
After hearing things like this, you start to think twice about wearing like expensive clothes and, Jordans, expensive Jordans, highly desirable, because you start to see that, okay, I might be a target of this violence and this conflict, and you start to think twice about it. It's like a plus one type thing. It's like,
Okay, so
That's they showed Riverbank State Park, right? It's a beautiful hundreds of millions of dollars recreation center, state of the art, that they built so that this wouldn't happen. And it happens even more because it's there.
yeah, man, no solutions, man. Listen, man.
I think about ice. They have like a regulation ice skating rink over there. I mean, indoor. I think it's indoor, but it's like you could practice to go to the Olympics on that thing.
These kids are. I applaud these kids for talking about the real issues they're facing. You notice none of them are talking about police brutality. None of them are talking about white supremacy. None of them are talking about Karens. This is their life. This is the problems in their life. This is the major issues in their life. So salute to these kids for talking about what's actually going on in their life. And shame on you gliders for really believing that bullshit that these kids are worried about some fucking redneck in a pickup truck.
So we set up that midnight basketball for them. We don't understand.
Taking someone else's shoes after a fight is often considered a prize.
After hearing things like this, you start to think twice about wearing like expensive clothes and, Jordans, expensive Jordans, highly desirable, because you start to see that, okay, I might be a target of this violence and this conflict, and you start to think twice about it. It's like a plus one type thing. It's like I beat you up, I got your Jordans now, and it's like I can do what I want with them. It's like an ego thing, kind of.
Suspects, again, you saw in the story, still on the loose. If you have any information, you're asked to call the Crime Stoppers hotline. That number, 1-800-577-TIPS.
A Marion, Arkansas father says he can sleep peacefully tonight knowing his daughter's killer will spend the rest of her life in prison. Her killer was finally convicted yesterday. Hello, I'm Greg Hurst.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Skurlock. Last April, his 8-year-old daughter was shot and killed. WRG's Ashley Paul joins us now live. And Ashley, her father tells us he wasn't sure he would ever see justice for his daughter.
Yes, Stephanie and Greg. Well, we reported back in April the woman accused of killing 8-year-old Jemiah Hall was out on bond, and Jemiah's family was angry and upset about it. But tonight they can move forward with some peace of mind after learning that woman will spend the rest of her life behind bars.
Think about it. Something's wrong with the system when you shoot an 8-year-old girl, fine. We'll let that ride. But a person who was out on bond at one point, and this woman looks like a crackhead, so it was probably a very low bond. When they went to court, they got 126 years. There should be no way anybody who's facing 126 years gets a fucking bond.
No. Surely not.
How the fuck do you know those two things square? Fuck that she killed an 8-year-old girl. That shit happens all the time. But goddamn, I would just be thinking like, if she's facing 126 years, we let her out on bond, she might not come back. That's how my mind works.
Oh yeah, if I'm facing 126 years, I'm gonna run.
Yeah, like you don't let that
I don't
person
care.
just go home and live. And so between the time she killed the 8-year-old girl and the time she was sentenced, she's like going to the grocery store, sitting home, hanging out on the streets. What?
Smoking crack.
Yeah, that something just is not right about that, man. It just doesn't feel right.
Tells us he wasn't sure he would ever see justice for his daughter.
Yes, Stephanie and Greg. Well, we reported back in April the woman accused of killing 8-year-old Jemiah Hall was out on bond, and Jemiah's family was angry and upset about it. But tonight they can move forward with some peace of mind after learning that woman will spend the rest of her life behind bars. Guilty is the one word Rodney Hall has been waiting to hear for 9 months.
My anxiety was through the roof because I'm getting justice. You know, I don't have to have sleep that's nice and be wondering, am I gonna get justice for my baby?
His daughter, 8-year-old Jemiah, was killed in April while playing outside with her friends in Marion in the Sherwood Cove area. 25-year-old Shantaria Montgomery was sentenced yesterday to 126 years in prison for her murder.
During trial, she didn't show no remorse. She didn't have any emotions. So I was wondering, like, how could this young lady with kids do such a thing, like, and don't have any feelings?
Prosecutors say Montgomery got into a fight with someone else near where the kids were playing and fired a shot that unintentionally hit Jemiah in the head. The third grader was rushed to Le Bonheur Children's Hospital, where she later died from her injuries.
When you pick up a gun, this is what you have to do.
I mean, like, you gotta be fucking kidding me, man.
And in her mind, she's saying, well, I didn't do it on purpose. That's her excuse. I wasn't aiming at her.
Yeah, fucking LeVar Burton and shit done fucking killed the little 8-year-old girl, man. Ain't that a bitch? God damn, man. What the fuck? And she was just, and this guy could have bumped into her like at the bus stop while she was out on bond. Someone who would eventually get 126 years. That's how bad what she did was. That they gave a black woman in 2023 126 years. Think about it. They gave a black woman 126 years. You know how hard it is to get 126 years as a black woman in 2023?
Have any emotions?
Yesterday to 126 years in prison for her murder.
During trial, she didn't show no remorse. She didn't have any emotions. So I was wondering, like, how could this young lady with kids do such a thing, like, and don't have any feelings?
Prosecutors say Montgomery got into a fight with someone else near where the kids were playing and fired a shot that unintentionally hit Jemiah in the head. The third grader was rushed to Le Bonheur Children's Hospital, where she later died from her injuries.
When you pick up a gun, this is what you have to deal with. Like, there's the consequences behind it.
Hall says every day since, he's lived his life in honor of his daughter, and he hopes to help others who have lost their loved ones to gun violence as well. If there's one thing he wants the community to know, it's this.
Hearts up, guns down, stop the senseless violence.
Montgomery was found guilty on all 3 counts of first-degree murder, terroristic threats, and tampering with evidence. Again, she's facing 126 years in prison. For now, reporting live, I'm Ashley Paul, WREG News, Channel 3.
Well, wait a minute. Terroristic threats. That means she was threatening them while she was probably out on bond.
Yeah, she probably was, which is the reason she shouldn't have been let out on bond. I mean, it's just a bizarre country, man. This country's going to shit, man. It didn't used to be like this. Like the prospect of you shooting an 8-year-old in the head in broad daylight for whatever reason and getting a bond was it was laughable 4 years ago.
Man, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, if you would have shot a kid and went to jail, you probably would have not made it to trial.
Yeah,
because the guys
New
in
York
the jail
Times
would
obtaining
kill you.
chilling
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, it's just crazy, man. Let's check up on our friend from Idaho, man.
The New York Times obtaining chilling posts, it says, are from the Idaho murder suspect, Brian Koberger, as a teenager. Times sharing screen grabs of the post with Outfront, in which Koberger reportedly says he feels no emotion, little remorse. One says, quote, as I hug my family, I look into their faces. I see nothing. It is like I'm looking at a video game. Out front now, Nicholas Bogle-Burrows, the reporter who broke this story. And Nick, I know that you identified and have now read through hundreds of messages from about a decade of time that you say were written by Kohberger. So this would go from the time he was a teenager all the way until now. Tell me more about what stood out to you in these posts.
Yeah, so it begins with these posts on a forum website when he's about 16 years old. And he's talking about feeling a range of mental health conditions or problems with his life. He talks about not being able to feel emotions, feeling like he's detached from the world. And as you mentioned, that when he hugs his own family, he sees nothing. He also described looking at his life and going through the motions like it's a video game. And he's really hard on himself, saying he feels worthless, that he's a jerk to people in his life and doesn't feel bad about it afterwards. He also talks particularly about his dad, saying he treats his dad like dirt, even though he thinks of him as a good guy. And this is all back when he's in about high school and his later teen years. And what we know about his life after that is that he ends up becoming addicted to heroin around the time that he graduated high school in 2013, and that he's in and out of rehab. But then what's kind of interesting is after that, it seems like his life turns around somewhat. He goes to community college and starts studying psychology and starts messaging other friends about saying he's interested in studying the minds of criminals. It seems like he's found a passion of some kind in psychology and criminology.
Wow.
And then he ends up going, of course, as we know, to across the country from Pennsylvania, where he grew up, to Washington State last summer, and starts a PhD program in criminology there.
So it's amazing to see this, and you've had a chance to read all through this, which has to be difficult. You say that one of his friends told you that Kohberger suffered from a neurological condition called visual snow, where people basically, as you describe it, see scattered dots, like sort of static on a television to people of a certain age. One of the posts you shared with us says, and I quote what you shared with us, it's as if the ringing in my ears and the fuzz in my vision is simply all the demons in my head mocking me.
What y'all think about that, man? Gliders, man. Is that a thing? I don't know. I'm a sun man. I don't know about that.
It's weird because he sounded kind of self-aware of what was wrong with him too. So I thought usually people who are really sick wouldn't be able to acknowledge that stuff.
People that are mentally ill don't know they're mentally ill. This just sounds like an angsty teenager.
Yeah, man. I'm telling you, man. I mean, it's weird, man. Strange, man. Strange.
What else do you know about the context there?
Yeah, the visual snow is a really little understood condition. It's like you said, it's static in your vision, like an old television, and there's really the cause is still not fully clear, but it really can be debilitating for some people. I want to be clear, it's not a sign of mental illness, and it's not something that anyone has said could explain these heinous killings. But it's something that he complained a lot about as a teenager, both to friends and on these online posts. And that was coupled with his complaints about life in general.
All right. Well, Nick, thank you very much. I appreciate your sharing.
Okay, man.
I mean, all I know about this is that Jake Gyllenhaal is kicking himself for not being 20 years younger at this point, man. That's what's going on.
Yeah.
No, but I'm going to make a guess that visual snow is going to be the latest mental illness to hit TikTok now.
Yeah, everybody's gonna say they got visual snow.
Yep.
Yikes.
It's going to be the new filter.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your time, Jim.
Yeah, good morning, guys. Yeah, not a good situation here. Police say that young man saw a screen door open and turned to these folks in this East Side neighborhood for some help when this happened and waited for the ambulance to get there. Now, police, they were called out about the shooting just after midnight, called out to Clinton Park Street on the East Side. Police say a 20-year-old man told them he had just finished up a workout at Planet Fitness on Scott Street when 4 women came up and asked him for a ride. He agreed. The trouble started, though, as they were getting close to where they were going. One of the women started to get out of the car, so he stopped. That's when police say a suspect with a gun opened the driver's side door. The victim says there was another guy with the gun at the back of his car. Here's what police say happened next.
Fearing for his life, he sped away, and at which point, when he sped away, the black male suspect discharged firearm, striking him.
Black male suspect. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. They let you know. They letting you know now. Wow. This is the second one in a couple of days we heard where they actually told you who the person was.
Well, you don't mess. You should not mess with people who go into Planet Fitness, man. It's always hood over there.
Yeah, but this is a lesson for him, man. And it's a lesson for you guys.
Don't pick up street hoes.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're young, you know what I'm saying? Your dick's talking to you, whatever, but here's a lesson. Here's the real lesson, though. Just because you speed off and you're down the street and you haven't taken anything from the son, man, there's no tie between you and him other than you disobeyed the order, he will still shoot you. He will still fire at you. Okay? So always be aware of that, because a lot of people think, okay, the son, man, he's trying to carjack me. If I just speed off, I'm in the clear. No.
But this guy would have shot him if he would have got out of the car.
No, but it's different to get shot when you get out of the car or when you're in their face. It's another thing when you're 20, 30 feet down the road going fucking 40 miles an hour and this fucking son man shooting at you as if you just fucking like burned down his fucking house or some shit.
Yeah, but it's funny. But the chances of hitting a kill shot at a moving target are far less than in that parking lot shooting.
No, I'm not saying don't do it. No, listen, I'm not saying don't do it. I'm saying be prepared for it, because some people think they've gotten away once they started driving.
You should definitely be ducking while you're driving, but
it's not over.
What's really funny about this is if cops had done that to a fleeing suspect, they would have gotten fired. They would have gotten tried.
Yep.
Oh yeah, it'd have been murder.
Son man will fire at you. Some man trying to rob you in the street. You run, he's shooting you in your back.
You gotta assume that they're gonna shoot you, period.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's the lesson. I mean, I can understand a young man at Planet Fitness, a bunch of girls say, "Can you give us a ride?" You thinking you're gonna get some phone numbers or something, maybe get some coochie down the line. I mean, young dudes are dumb like that. I can excuse that.
But police say happened next.
Fearing for his life, he sped away, and at which point, when he sped away, the black male suspect discharged firearm, striking him in the abdomen area.
Yeah, and at that point, 3 of the women were still in the car, according to police. One of them eventually took the keys from the ignition, and they all ran off. So this morning, police are still searching for the 2 shooters and the 4 women who they believe were involved, as this all appears to be a setup. As for the victim, we're told that he had surgery, but he is expected to survive. Reporting live from the Med Center, Courtney Carpenter, ABC 13 Eyewitness News.
Shout out to the Jacksonville Jaguars, man. Wow, man. I was watching some of that game, man. They came back. I had a feeling they were going to do it too, man. I had a feeling they were going to come back, man. I really did, man. Just the way that quarterback, he's been in so many big games, man. He may be only in the second year, but playing at Clemson, man, he's played in a lot of big games, man. Salute to Jacksonville, man.
Here's one more observation about that gym shooting. If you're a 3 and they're a 10, hit the accelerator.
We are taking a aggressive approach, more aggressive than ever in violent crime.
Well, think twice. That's Maryland U.S. Attorney Eric Barron's message after vowing to crack down on criminals by any legal means necessary. Alexa Ashwell spoke with Barron and joins us live with yet another example of federal prosecutors stepping in to help address Baltimore's crime crisis. Alexa?
Yes, this latest case, a multi-state drug
Yeah, the
trafficking
audio is really cracking up, man.
ordered.
Oh, the audio's cracking up. Shit. Let me.
Not real bad on that
It's
one.
weird. The video was completely stable, though.
Has to go out and reset.
Yeah, man. Salute.
And that gym rat kid, he watched too many pornos, man.
Yeah, that's exactly what he.
No, you're 3 and you got 4
Brazzers,
10s coming to you. That's come on.
He got to cancel his Brazzers subscription, man. It's bad for his
Attorney Eric Barron's message
How's my
after
sound?
vowing to crack down on criminals by
Better.
any necessary. Alexa Ashwell spoke with Barron and joins us live with yet another example of federal prosecutors stepping in to help address Baltimore's crime crisis. Alexa?
Yes, this latest case, a multi-state drug trafficking bust that prosecutors say was headquartered right here in Baltimore. 2 Baltimore-based drug trafficking organizations shut down. These federal indictments naming nearly 3 dozen people from Maryland, Virginia, and West Virginia accused of pumping deadly drugs, including fentanyl and heroin, into communities. The leaders
Man,
of the
I'm seeing glider names.
right here in Baltimore, identified as Kentrell Rollins, aka T-Rock, and Sean Davis.
Those are definitely gliders, man. Duh.
No, the names that were scrolling in the stream before were glider names.
Kentrell? Come on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
Kentrell ain't.
Although the spelling of Sean.
Yeah, just
Well,
Sean.
no. Well, look at his street name. White.
White. Yeah, he could be light skinned. We call light skinned dudes white boy too.
Davis.
Think twice. Think twice.
I've also
because
seen the gun memorial for
we
Sean,
are-
and the gun memorial for Sean is just as sunny as any other one.
Think twice, because we are taking a aggressive approach, more aggressive than ever, in violent crime in our state, and particularly in Baltimore City.
To better address Baltimore's crime
Did you
crisis,
guys
Maryland
peep
U.S. Attorney
the
Eric
spelling
Barron
of that
says
guy's
that also
name?
What are you talking about? This guy? Eric. Yeah, Eric.
And particularly in Baltimore City.
To better address Baltimore's crime
You look like Willie
crisis,
D.
Maryland U.S. Attorney Eric Barron says that also means prosecuting more gun cases.
We're being aggressive about firearms and violence in Maryland, particularly in Baltimore City.
An example, yesterday's sentencing of Lawrence Russo, the Baltimore man who led police on a chase that ended near a school and was later federally charged with being in possession of a gun within a school zone.
The school zones.
Lawrence Russo. That sounds like a glider. So they cracking down on the glider, huh? he making sure he cracking down on the gliders.
Ended near a school and was yesterday's sentencing of Lawrence Russo, the Baltimore man who led police on a chase that ended near a school and was later federally charged with being in possession of a gun within a school zone.
The school zone statute in particular is one in which the office has not historically enforced, but we are enforcing it because we think, we need to send a message to, people out there who would do violence in our communities.
The judge who sentenced Russo to the maximum 5 years in prison for that crime also sending a message in these transcripts telling Russo he was in federal court because the violence is overwhelming the state system, saying, quote, the U.S. Attorney's Office is trying to assist state authorities in handling many of these cases, many of which ordinarily would not be in federal court just because of the violence in the.
So what do you think about that? They're overwhelming.
They're not, though. They're not, though.
What do you mean?
They're doing the city's job.
No,
Don't they have a doesn't Baltimore have one of those woke DAs who won't prosecute anybody?
Yes.
He's got a new
The
DA.
the feds are being forced to do Baltimore's DA's job.
Yeah, they got a new DA who's talking kind of tough though. We'll see.
The city.
It's necessary that we hold people who would do violence accountable. It's absolutely necessary.
This guy doesn't sound sure. He sounds kind of like wishy-washy. He's not the DA though. He's
He looks like Willie D.
State's Attorney General.
No, he's the federal DA for that area.
Yeah. But the DA for Baltimore they just elected a new one. So let's go see what's going on in Renton. There was a lot of going on in Renton today, man. I want to show you guys some stuff from Renton, man. Before I get into the main event, I want to show you guys some stuff from Renton. Renton is a town in Washington State. It was a racist shooter there today. And I think we got to get into some of the backstory of this city.
I'm just trying to, I guess, be really honest. And I was kind of raised, to be us against them.
We pick up the story of Steve, the man from Renton who admitted to himself and to us he's racist. Steve has been trying to make things right with his daughter, who is half black. King 5's Kristen Ayers has been following Steve for months now. And tonight, Steve asks a question that we have heard many other white people ask us as we've explored issues around race over the past several months. Basically, how long will white Americans be blamed for racism?
I know that I'm racist and I don't want to be. I don't mean to be. I'm trying not to be.
Steve Ramey is coming to terms with what it means to be racist and how it's hurting his family, including his biracial daughter, Caitlin Noble. For months, we've been following Steve.
I do say racist stuff. A lot of it's out of humor.
He didn't realize how much his jokes were hurting Caitlin.
How does it make you feel? Uncomfortable and angry.
But with the help of local race educator Karina Hook.
Local race educator?
Oh my God.
Man, these people are creating these great jobs for themselves, man. It's amazing.
How racist could he have been if his daughter's half black?
Right. I mean,
amazing.
Yeah, it's just bizarre. This story is bizarre, man.
Unless he doesn't like
There's
Asians.
nothing funny about it.
Steve has just made progress.
So I need to look at why I think it's funny.
Yes.
Okay.
And why?
That makes more sense to me.
And why you think it's okay.
Steve thought it would be relatively easy to stop being racist.
I'm going to tell you a couple things that may be hard to hear.
He's about to learn that racism doesn't stop with telling off-color jokes. And tonight, he pushes back.
He says it just feels like everything is white people suck.
Over hours of counseling Steve and Caitlin, Karina Hooks is starting to get to the root of their race issues. For Caitlin, it's discovering her identity as a black woman raised by white.
As a biracial woman raised by her fucking father.
No, I think I'm getting the
No,
feeling
it's the
that
mom.
she's adopted. I'm having the feeling she's adopted.
I don't think she's adopted. I think she's the mom's
daughter,
kid from a.
Yeah.
I think she's the mom's kid from another marriage.
Yeah, I'm getting
Get to the root of their race issues. For Caitlin, it's discovering her identity as a black woman raised by white parents.
How does she get to step into her beauty and her excellence and find her voice and still hold on to the relationship she values so dearly with her family?
Well, if white women are the standard of beauty, being around white people, she should have a jump on the situation, man.
It's hard to
This
do
bullshit
when
that
your
you
own
have
dad
worth
doesn't get
because
it.
your skin color is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, this is crazy.
So dearly with her family.
It's hard to do when her own dad doesn't get it.
He doesn't he doesn't see color kind of thing. We all see color. Unless we're colorblind.
I do see the color and stuff. I guess when I'm saying that I don't see colors, I'm not judging a person by their color.
There is, in fact,
But
a
you
racist in
understand
that
that
room.
people are judged by their
There's
color.
two.
No, you know
Can I
the
explain?
racist is in that room. The
Caitlin has
fat
been
lady.
quiet.
That's who the racist in the room is.
And so's
But
the
now
daughter.
she wants to lay.
Yeah,
So her father is Dirty Harry. He hates everybody.
I'm trying to figure out the dynamic here because I'm looking
No,
at her
dad
features.
is a liberal. Dad is a super duper liberal. and if she is the mother's daughter, he took, he brought her into his family. You know what I mean? How is that racist?
No, I'm
Yeah,
saying the
what's
daughter is
wrong?
racist,
Definitely.
not the father.
Yes.
Can I
Yeah.
explain?
Caitlin has been quiet, but now she wants to lay out what's wrong with her dad not seeing her color.
It means that if you don't see then you don't see our experiences and what we go through as a colored person. Meaning you don't see the stuff we go through.
She's
Based on our
brainwashed.
color that we go
So
through.
judge me on the color of my skin and not my character.
She got this in
No,
college.
she's brainwashed. She's brainwashed. She's just touting the same stuff that they're
What
teaching
is she
people.
going through?
Yeah.
Let's hold on. Let me hear what she's going through.
Because of our color.
What are some of the identities that you hold?
Okay, white.
4 identities he lists: he's white, he's male, he's a father, and he's over 60.
But if you were to get rid of 3 of them, which 3 would it be?
I ain't getting rid of white. That don't make sense. I wouldn't want to give up the white part because I don't want to be treated the way that white people treat people.
With Steve, it's interesting because there is kind of, I don't understand, help me understand. And at the same time, when I ask a question like, what part of your identity would you give up? And he responded, well, I would like to give up being a white man, but I know the consequences. What he does know is that it's better to be white than it is to be black in this country.
He said he wouldn't give up being white. That would be stupid.
Because didn't she say what 3 would you give up? No, I thought that was strange.
Well, that and which I'd like to know which 3 this one would give up.
She
Fat,
definitely wouldn't.
entitled, black,
She definitely
and
wouldn't.
stupid.
She definitely
Black.
wouldn't give up being fucking 13% fucking black. Because
Hey,
she's
put an asterisk by black.
she's 20% black tops.
For the first time, Steve is forced to face what that will mean for Caitlin.
When Caitlin steps out of the home into the world, she is judged based on her color. And there are some assumptions that people will make just by the color of her skin. If I make a judgment,
What assumptions aside from things that okay, if she starts getting loud at the fucking Walmart, we probably think, yeah, it's gonna go fucking bad. But if she's just fucking walking down the aisle of the Walmart minding her fucking business, there's no fucking assumption. Nobody's paying her any fucking attention.
They're being vague. They're being vague and open ended because they would actually say what characteristics they will themselves appear to be the so-called racist. So they won't say what it is. They just leave it very vague and open ended.
I mean, the main point is that these people say is that if you're not racist, then you're racist. In other words, if you don't see, like he brought her up, he never saw her color bringing her up. That to them, that's racist.
And look at the way this girl acts. She was raised by 2 white people. Look at the way she squirms in that chair. That ain't black girl magic.
based on what I've been conditioned to know, we've been taught that then that must mean we're a bad person. Versus saying, I've been conditioned to believe like black is bad. I've been conditioned to believe that black people should just work harder. And so
Hold on, what?
Oh, yeah, how dare they expect anybody to work hard? How dare they?
I told you that most black parents tell their kids that they have to work hard. They have to be twice as good to get the same. You got to be twice as good to get the job that the white boy get. You got to be twice as good to get into the school that the white boy get. And then you take the SATs and and you get a fucking 900 and the white boy gets a 1400 and you get into school.
now that I know I've been conditioned in that way, let me work to counteract that narrative.
When you put it in that angle,
Yeah.
yes, every person that walks up, we're going to judge if they're safe or they're not.
People all the time will say, I don't see color, but yeah, I don't go over there where the black people are. This is a contradiction.
No, it's the violence, man. It's the violence over there where the black people are.
So it feels like that now that you've said it that way, that I'm using that as an excuse to be racist, I guess, because it just feels like everything
was
is
provided with a
white people
golden
suck.
upbringing.
You know what I
mean,
mean? I can't be alone in thinking that.
Look at the stats on Renton. 58% above the national average, well, cost of living, which means it's a great place. It gets 5 out of 5 stars. She was brought up in a very nice, wealthy suburb of a wealthy town of Seattle, and she never had to worry about getting jumped on her way home. I mean, what the and this guy did, and this guy brought her up like that, and this is what he's getting for that. I feel bad for this guy.
Yeah, this is a cuck. This is definitely a cuck we're watching. He's getting cucked.
So it feels like that now that you've said it that way, that I'm using that as an excuse to be racist, I guess, because it just feels like everything is white people suck. You know what I mean? I can't be alone in thinking that.
You're not.
So how long do I got to feel guilty for how my ancestors treated a whole race of people? You know what I mean? And then also, how long is that race going to hold it against me?
I'm not a guilt, shame, blame type of practitioner. So I would say guilt and shame and all of that does nothing to forward our humanity or our work in this area. I'm just going to reframe your question, even though it was different. How long am I responsible for what I inherited? And I would say that until your daughter is able to have equitable access to housing, healthcare, education, I would say in your lifetime.
What the fuck are you talking about?
The fuck
They
are you talking
freaking
about?
give them houses to live in for 10% of what it costs anybody else.
The fuck?
And it's not equality; it's equity.
Equity.
And until your daughter gets free shit, which let's admit she's had her whole fucking life already, you're responsible for this entire community.
That fat bitch is a Marxist. She's a Marxist.
I'd have got up. I'd have got up, and I'd said, "Okay, I will treat you black now," to the daughter, and walked out. And every fucking thing I bought for her would be the blackest fucking shit I could find. Her car would have brand new 24s on it.
I mean,
her clothes would be Hoochie Club clothes.
It's I was just looking up the demos, and very solidly middle class. I'm going to say, because they gave different amounts for different parts of the town. I'm going to say, mean average income around $70,000 a year, which is pretty good.
Boeing built Renton, Washington.
Yeah, Boeing. Yeah, Boeing's there, and Kenworth trucks.
Man, this is insane, man.
And I would demand she go to a HBCU.
How old do you think this girl
work
is?
will not be done.
How old do you think
She's like
this girl is?
15, 16.
Is an active practice daily that makes sure that your daughter, Caitlin, and the Caitlins of the world are able to be seen deeper than the color of one's skin.
Tomorrow, Steve and Caitlin are ready to start having the difficult conversations about race on their own, but it won't exactly be easy.
We're just sitting there eating in the kitchen or something, and I went, "So how's it feel to be black?" She goes, "Shut up."
I said, shut up.
I'm not supposed to ask that? She goes, "No."
So, Kristen, these conversations, they're not easy ones to have, but it sounds like Caitlin and her dad, Steve, they're going to actually try anyway.
Yeah, and
He
honestly,
did
Joyce, it's
try.
going to get a little bit uncomfortable, but the race educator Karina Hook says that is where all of the growth really happens. She says when it comes to talking about race, you have to be willing to be a little uncomfortable, to sometimes stick your foot in your mouth, and ultimately to keep coming back no matter what. And that is exactly what we're going to be seeing from Steve and Caitlin in their final story with us, which will be on tomorrow. Joyce?
Yeah, we've said
How
this
do you
before.
find
People make
out
mistakes,
someone's
but it's
experience
okay
without
to make
asking them
mistakes.
about their
That's where the growth is
experience?
too.
He has to be psychic.
Exactly.
No, you gliders are supposed to be psychic. You're supposed to know everything. I mean, they do treat you. They look up to you like you're God. So yeah, you should know what their experience is, even though you don't
Jesus
know a lick of
Christ.
what their life is about.
Okay, if we're God, you need to pray to us.
This guy wasted a lot of fucking money.
All week, we've been following a Renton father who has a biracial daughter. He says flat out he's racist, but he doesn't want to be. His name is Steve, and he turned to our Facing Race team to ask, what could he do? Kristen Ayers has been following him and his daughter as they work with a race educator. And tonight, Steve is about to put all that he's learned to the test as he tries to do something that many of us would shy away from.
Are we going? No, I'm just kidding.
It's a big deal that this Renton family showed up today. If this was a year ago, Steve Ramey, his wife Alex, and his daughter Caitlin might not have agreed to have a hard conversation with a race educator as a family.
Glad to see you all actually here as a family unit.
Steve and Alex don't ever talk about
from.
being white. Caitlin rarely talks to them about being biracial and the only black person in her white family. But after nationwide calls for racial justice, Steve recently admitted something no one in his family expected.
I know that I'm racist and I don't want to be. I don't mean to be. I'm trying not to be.
We've been following Steve for months since he told us that. This is the last of a series of intensive counseling sessions with race.
What he is considering as racist is actually prejudice.
Or comedy. I mean, he makes jokes.
Yeah, but all right, say you're walking down a sidewalk and there's ice, right?
Is it black ice?
No, it's just ice. You prejudge that ice, right? Walking across that ice, right?
Well, that's one of those things that black ice is actually more dangerous, right?
God damn, man. That's not where I was going with this, but
it was perfect. Come on, man, it was perfect.
But listen though, he fucked the white people in this town, man. I mean, he screwed them over because remember, when you're white, your actions speak for your entire race, and when you're black, they just speak for you.
And not the town.
Median household income there is $90,000.
Yeah, it's because Boeing.
It's
all Boeing union jobs.
She grew up in a nice place. She didn't have to look over her shoulder. She didn't get her bicycle stolen. I mean, and now he gets this.
Yeah.
This is what you get when you pander to Marxists. This is what you get when you pander to Marxists. He is in a struggle session right now.
He should have said, you know, I'm racist. I'm trying not to be racist, but it's just too. But it's so much fun. So I can't help but tell so many jokes about Asian drivers or blacks playing basketball, things like that, or white guys can't dance. It's funny. At least that's what I would have done.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, still though, just with him admitting that, like, yeah, I am racist. I see. Look, in all of them like that. He just the only one that admitted. So he, all of you guys, man, he fucked. He should have thought.
He doesn't understand what racism is either. He's
Yeah,
going off of their definition.
He still should have not said that.
Racist and I don't want to be. I don't mean to be. I'm trying not to be.
We've been following Steve for months since he told us that. This is the last of a series of intensive counseling sessions with race educator Karina Hooks, where Steve has been learning how not to be racist.
What makes you not the norm is that you're admitting that you're a racist and that you want to change. That's different.
He's made progress. He realized the jokes he tells are racist and are hurting his daughter.
How does it make you feel?
Uncomfortable and angry.
And that going through life pretending not to see Caitlin's color
Then you don't see our experiences and what we go through as a person of color.
can be more harmful than simply seeing and embracing her differences.
I'm using that as an excuse to be racist, I guess.
Now, Steve tells Karina he's taken another big step. He attempted to do something he's never done before. Talk to Caitlin about race at home.
We're just sitting there eating in the kitchen or something, and I went, "So how's it feel to be black?" She goes, "Shut up."
I said, shut up.
I went, "I'm not supposed to ask that." She goes, "No."
It didn't go well.
It caught me off guard. He's like a white man and I'm a woman of color. How is he
Oh,
supposed
that's
to...
your fucking father, bitch.
That's the white man that pay your bills.
Right.
He's not the fucking slave master of your fucking personal plantation.
No, you know what he decided he should just say, you know what? I'm swearing off the race jokes. I'm just doing fat jokes from now on.
She ain't gonna, because she ain't gonna worry about that. Now
And look at who's the racist. All he is to her is a fucking white man.
Right.
All he's ever done for her,
able to ever understand.
Yeah.
she thinks is owed to her.
This is bad.
I'm a woman of color. How is he supposed to be able to ever understand how I feel?
What would be a way that he could have asked you that would have had your response be more in a way where you felt like sharing?
I guess he could have just been like, how are you feeling? He didn't really have to add the... Didn't have to really say how to...
But you just were bitching that he doesn't see you as a black person and all that you go through.
You can't help
live with these people.
You can't help victims, man. They gotta help themselves.
And this shows the bullshit. This exposes the bullshit of the whole thing.
What's up, Georgia?
Hey, Ak, I put the link to this woman organization in the back chat. It's just a money grab.
It's a Marxist money grab.
No, they make it's not even Marxist. It is straight up money.
If you
No,
look
but
at
it's still Marxist theory.
Their qualifications, they're just like one has a master's of social work, the other one has a master's of education. There's an MPA, and they're not really doing actual therapy, so they're not licensed in that way. They're calling it consultation and like group workshops because they have these useless degrees.
They would have been making like $40,000 a year. Now they're making 150, 200.
Yeah,
Look at the staff.
Someone in the chat said racial dolazol.
Yeah, look at the staff.
She says she's biracial, but why would she put her hair like piled up like that?
Because it's black.
She
Not
wishes
normal.
she was black. She wishes she was black for some reason. Just be happy with who you are. Why is that so hard? Why is that so difficult to do?
Look at these people. Look at these 4 people that are the racial experts. God. I don't know what's worse, race to dinner or this. I think the race to dinner chicks are more annoying though. Those
You know
chicks
what makes more of an impact than even race is just like attractiveness. You know, there's plenty of studies that attractive people do better in life.
Oh yeah,
So I
pretty
just- I don't
privilege
trust-
exists.
I don't trust people who look like this.
Yeah. It's bad, man. Tell me how
And
much
everywhere this girl goes, she will go on her pretty face.
Yeah, this girl's attractive. His daughter's attractive, but tell me how much
Well,
sound.
she's only attractive for now. Just wait till they get, their hands on her.
Yeah, they're
Didn't have to really say how does it feel to be black.
These conversations rarely end well in their family. Caitlin says every time she tries to talk about race with Steve and her mom, Alex,
They get like overwhelmed, and so they turn.
Bitch, you just said when he asked you how to be black, you just told him to shut up. What the fuck?
And this is a girl who doesn't know what it's like to be black.
Yeah, they need, you know what she needs? They need to set her up with a family in the PJs for about a week.
in Philly. Send her to Philly.
Exactly. In
Hell
Philly,
yeah.
or NYCHA in New York. I don't think she'd make it past 2 days.
Yeah,
Oh,
she'll go
no.
running home.
She'll go
Yeah.
running home, say, "Thank you for protecting me all these years, Father. I'm not going to talk about race anymore. I don't want to be black anymore."
Yeah. Listen, as soon as she shows up and some girl, just half the girls hate her just because how she looks. And then, like, I'm sure she's used to girls being jealous and catty, but she's not used to girls acting on it with physical violence. She's used to girls being jealous and catty and like not speaking to you or clicking up
Whispering and
against
giggling
you.
and shit like that.
Yeah, she's not used to like the way the cattiness in the girl shit expresses itself in
And she
Blackenstein.
has no idea what goes on there. She doesn't see the videos. If she sees the videos, she's like, "Oh, well, that's just because of whatever." She doesn't
Send her
Come on,
over.
understand
Send
that
her over
that
to that
every
is
day it's
normal
George
life.
Floyd in every city for every
Send her
black
over to that
person.
McDonald's on 145th and Broadway where that kid got stomped. Dress her up
Yes.
in nice clothes and send her on over there.
She just has
With
no
a fresh
idea.
pair of $400 Jordans.
I mean,
Yeah,
to me,
yeah.
she looks cute and she looks like a sweet girl, but maybe she gets overlooked at school because there's not a lot of
It's you know what? It's
biracial
not,
kids or black kids, and she
There's a
doesn't
ton of
understand.
biracial
it's not
kids,
really
bro.
her fault though. I think she's been brainwashed. I
Yeah,
don't think
100%.
Yeah,
she's young.
she's
She's young
brainwashed.
and she's not that responsible for what she's saying. Really,
Yeah,
she's
let me
being
move along.
manipulated.
Let me move along.
And so it turns into frustration, and then they get like angry.
And is that usually if it's about race or just in general?
Race.
Caitlin talked about her discomfort last session in front of Steve.
I'm very closed off with my parents.
So what percent would you say?
Oh my God, you're a
100
fucking
or
teenager.
A lot.
We've got to
Congratulations.
bring that number down.
So why do you feel uncomfortable about it?
I'm just very like, I like making people like feel bad or you know.
So there's a story in her head is that we're going to make, you feel bad.
And that's why they've come here today, to figure out why it's so hard to talk about race, and then to talk about it anyway.
So what's the defense about? Let's unpack it just a little bit.
I feel that maybe she's attacking my parenting skills. Like I thought I was doing everything right, I mean,
You raised her in one of the great safest towns in America. You did a great job.
What
You fucked up by sending her to public
you
school.
did the best you could, giving the tools and the skills that you had at the time?
Yeah, well, it makes sense.
But I also want you to know that she would not be who she is without you.
Right, and I understand that, and you are correct.
Karina says what they're doing, sitting here, finally
She
talking
looks
about race.
extremely white in that camera light.
You have to be willing to stick your foot in your mouth. A lot of people will say, like, I don't talk about it because I don't want to say the wrong thing. But not talking about it, that to me creates a lot more harm and discomfort to act like it doesn't exist. And as long as people keep leaning in, there's so much hope. It's when we shut down that nothing's possible.
To start listening to Caitlin without getting defensive is going to take more time, patience, and more talking. And Karina wants a commitment, family therapy for all three of them with a new counselor.
So I asked Alex if you're 100% all in, and you said
yes.
Caitlin.
Yes.
Okay, Steve.
Yes.
Like I'm so excited to see where each of you go with that. You have all of the right ingredients. You're just trying to figure out the recipe. I would love for her to be able to have open conversations with her dad and for them to be in a loving, reciprocal relationship about what it means to bring our best selves to each other. And that includes her Blackness. It includes his whiteness. There's so much that they can learn from each other.
She wants to destroy that family.
Now, as their final session is winding down, Karina has one last exercise for the family. a poem she's had them each write about themselves.
I'd like to
a chance to open
introduce
up
her to a
and really
reciprocating
see
saw.
each other.
I am empathic and loved. I understand I have the ability to make a difference.
I am beautiful and kind. I wonder who I'll become.
Just breathe, sis. Breathe. Take your time.
I want self-love. I am beautiful and kind. I hope for self-peace. I am beautiful and kind.
She sounds like
Oh,
a
she's
narcissist.
pretty fucking conceited.
Yeah, she's a narcissist, man. Self this, self that, beautiful, kind, self.
But that's what they teach kids. All these I statements. It's they do this stuff in school to kind of break them emotionally.
Do you think this lady? Do you think this lady is actually has any black in her?
Yeah,
I
she
think
could definitely be biracial.
I think
I don't think
every Friday night
20% would be. I think 20% would be a stretch. Now, Platinum Pig says, "Happy MLK Day." Hey, Ock, do you think they will have a George Floyd Day? I think had this. It turned like the zeitgeist turned on that, but there was a moment, there was a time, even into 2021, where I thought, damn, they might literally have a George Floyd Day one day. But I think that ship has sailed on that.
Hey, I don't know. Did you see the MLK statue in Boston?
like a hunk of shit.
Man, it looks like somebody's holding a big, you know what?
Yeah, there's a meme picture of like Michelle Obama. You know that big guy who was like a porn star sitting on the edge of the bed, but it has like Michelle Obama's head, and it has that statue, and the statue looks like his pee-pee.
I gotta look up that MLK statue. I didn't see that.
Oh,
Marvin
dude, this thing is horrible.
Marvin Law
I will
says,
say that this woman here probably gets inoculated with black the black scene every night.
Marvin Law says, if you this daughter is messed up, hold on. If you this daughter is messed, look up. Oh, if you think this daughter is messed up, look up Samantha Foss and calling out her father at his funeral. I did a story on Samantha Foss.
Oh,
we
yeah.
did that at his funeral. That was disgusting. I hope she fucking. I hope she runs into some really dark skinned son sisters from the hood that have just been like all lost their boyfriends to biracial girls that same day. Like literally like just crosses paths with them like right at the moment their boyfriend just told them, look, man, I don't want you anymore. I'm with this biracial. But yeah, salute to you, man. I remember that one. I did a video on that girl. She's disgusting. She's a disgusting little twit. JT Gwynn says, how can one become a guest on the show? The link is in the description box, man. The link is in the description box. The link to the StreamYard, I just put it in the comment section. Just hit the link and come on up, man. Yeah, this is Renton. This is I just want to give you guys a window into Renton, man, where these shootings were today, man.
Great community, good schools. What else is great about living in Renton, and what are the drawbacks of living here? Welcome back to my YouTube channel where we talk about all things living in Washington State. Today we are covering the great city of Renton. What are the pros? What are the cons? What do you need to know before moving here? By the way, my name is Vina Jarabek. I'm a local real estate agent to Renton, and I spend all my time helping people buy and sell homes in the area. With that, I've lived in Renton for about 10 years now, but there are some things that I wish were different. So let's chat. Pros of living in Renton: very centrally located, number one. We've got Seattle's like 20 minutes away, Bellevue's 15 minutes away, Kent's 5-10 minutes away. But my point is that Renton is right there in the middle. So 30 minutes up to Linwood, 30 minutes down to Tacoma on a good day with no traffic. 405 is close by, 167 is a few miles away, and I-90 is just north. Really, so when you're living in Renton, you really have no problem getting anywhere. To that respect, I-405 does run right through Renton just about. So we do do get caught during those peak traffic hours, and there are neighborhoods right there next to the freeway, so they deal with freeway noise. Renton School District has a good amount of schools with very high ratings, and we have great community. We have the Renton Landing City Center and then downtown Renton, restaurants and shops and stores and grocery stores. Awesome parks, we have a few good hiking trails, and the Kennydale Newcastle neighborhoods have waterfront. So we have a good amount of things to do. But on the flip side, there's really only so much in my experience. So yes, the Thai restaurant is delicious, but going there every week just gets tiring. And so I guess I'm just feeling optimistic today. But like I said, 15 minutes to Seattle, you can go do something there. We also have the Renton Boeing location, which employs more than 30,000 people. And generally in Renton, we have lots of commuters to up north, Bellevue, Seattle, and higher. Just about everyone's work from home right now, so that doesn't matter, but a lot of people are still going back to the office. Real estate-wise, we are pretty mid-range. People who want a nicer area.
Okay, so this girl was blessed to grow up in this fucking town, man. Blessed.
Welcome to Renton, Washington, a growing center of opportunity where businesses and families thrive. Renton is just minutes from downtown Seattle and only 6 miles from Seattle-Tacoma International Airport. Renton is known for manufacturing, startups, and healthcare. We have lakefront views, great companies, an educated workforce, and we certainly love our Renton Seahawks.
Our schools are top-notch, and kids here are building strong foundations for their futures. Our graduates are entering the workforce confidently with job-ready skills.
Renton is one of the fastest growing communities in the Puget Sound area. Businesses and families are choosing to move to the city because of its affordability and great location. Everyone loves living here.
Whether it be software or retail, manufacturing or aviation,
I don't know. He's cooking
the
with
companies
gas
that
on
call
that
Renton
stove. I
home
don't know if he
are
can
really taking
survive.
Southport is Puget Sound's newest waterfront tech campus. With over 712,000 square feet of Class A office, beautiful views of Lake Washington, and plenty of opportunities for recreating. I mean, where else can you paddleboard at lunch?
In Renton, inspiring outdoor activities are right at your doorstep. From trails to golf to boating and beaches, we live to play.
So come check us out and see for yourself why Renton is a great place to live and work.
Full of a diverse and skilled workforce.
Ready to support your growing business.
A perfect place to raise a family.
The ultimate outdoor playground.
Renton, Washington, the next place you want to call home.
Yeah, man. Sounds cool, man.
And you probably can't afford anything more than Renton.
Yeah, right.
Well, think about it this way. That 30,000 employee workforce at Boeing starts at $25 an hour. Starts.
Okay, so let's see what else Renton has to offer. Now, guys, we're gonna get into the main event in a little bit, man. Next few minutes, man. But I just want to, let you guys, get a little backdrop on the town, man.
I hate to see that community stressed because they worry that this kind of thing is becoming more common.
Renton police arrested 2 teens who they believe carried out a crime spree that started at around 11:30 p.m. last night. First, a carjacking that occurred in the parking lot at an apartment complex along Petrovitsky Road. As police rushed to the scene, they got word of a home invasion at a nearby apartment complex, and the suspects matched the description of the suspects in the previous carjacking.
What was that description? What do you think that description was?
Of the suspects in the previous
Sonny.
carjacking. Police say the suspects stole multiple items while holding a 12-year-old child at gunpoint. Responding officers say that on their way to the scene, the suspect's vehicle rushed past. It was later found in the side of a storage unit on Carr Road. Robert O'Neill.
Wow, look at the carnage. Look, a gun to a 12-year-old and multiple carjackings and stolen, the sheds all fucked up. And think about it. It's probably only like fucking 4% there, right? Imagine if their fucking population doubles or triples.
On Carr Road. Robert Onishi says it was a miracle no one got hurt throughout all of this.
There are infinite places where this story could have gone horribly wrong. And it was bad enough as was, but at least we leave this with nobody hospitalized with serious injuries, nobody fatally injured, but the potential is definitely there.
Detective Onishi went on to say that this is part of a concerning trend in regards to juveniles.
We have definitely seen an uptick in alarming behaviors amongst young people.
Alarming behaviors.
However, Detective Onishi says that last night's crime spree, while extreme, is not common in Renton, and residents are still safe, but is concerned how last night will be received by the community.
It's not an everyday occurrence. That's why it becomes such a point of interest. But you are now putting out this, terrible thing that happened to a number of different people, to a community that may now feel, oh, these things are going on. What's my level of safety? What can I expect as far as how my days are going to go?
Now, Detective Onishi went on to say that although 2 arrests have been made so far, 4 people were actually found in the vehicle. And he says that more arrests could be made as the investigation progresses. But for now, we're live in Renton. Lionel Donovan, King 5 News.
2 men were shot and killed at the landing in Renton this afternoon. Police are investigating this as a murder-suicide. King 5's Callie Greenberg is live at the landing tonight with details. Callie?
And Greg, this happened in the roundabout area which is located in the center of the landing, if you're familiar with the area. So understandably, when this happened, it created quite a chaotic scene as people weren't necessarily sure what was going on. Well, police later determined that they believe this was targeted. They're still trying to figure out how the 2 men who died knew each other.
When you are in front of this kind of stuff and this close, it definitely hits close to home. I want to go home and be with my family.
Ryan Runge was at the landing in Renton Monday afternoon when he heard gunshots coming from the center of the outdoor mall.
I was doing some Christmas shopping. We heard some pops, 5 or 6 shots. First thing I noticed was we looked out and there were people running to get out of the parking lot roundabout area.
A chaotic scene. Witnesses say police arrived quickly. They found 2 men dead and a gun.
It appears again that this was a targeted attack. So we are presuming there's some kind of a backstory to this, but we don't know what it is.
Renton police say this is being investigated as a murder-suicide.
From eyewitness accounts, it appears that one approached the other, pulled a gun, shot him multiple times, then walked a short distance away while manipulating the gun, and then shot himself.
Police say no one else was hurt in the exchange.
And this is tragic, and we don't know what...
It sound like gliders, man.
Glider.
It sounds like gays.
Yeah, gay gliders, man.
The lead up to this is, but I'm sure that there are a number of people affected by it.
Marcy, your expert opinion?
God damn it. Give that boy a break.
And we are sorry for that.
It's awful anytime, but especially during the holidays, it's really bad to see this kind of stuff happen.
And earlier this evening, when I spoke with Renton police, I asked them if there's been an uptick in maybe shots fired incidents or even just confrontations in the landing or the area around it. And they said no. They said what happened today is not common. In fact, the last time they can think of a gun being fired in this area was when it was accidentally discharged at a movie theater back in 2015.
The last time a gun was fired at this mall was in 2015. This place, and that girl's bitching at her dad for raising her in this place.
Renton tonight, Callie.
It would be interesting to see who discharged that firearm. I'm guessing Sunman. I would take it about 80%.
That's a lot of the Washington allows you to own guns. That could have been a glider.
News.
Our suspects are just getting younger and younger involved in these crimes that it's shocking and it's disturbing.
It all started at 8:34 Tuesday morning when Renton police were dispatched to the landing in Renton for reports of an armed carjacking of a Dodge Charger. Renton police say suspects also arrived in a reported stolen Elantra Hyundai, and then the 2 stolen vehicles headed toward
Context clues.
Bellevue police say they got a tip from SPD of the stolen Elantra, which was spotted abandoned near 167th and Southeast 12th in Bellevue. A suspect was arrested in the backyard of a home shortly after 10 a.m.
That suspect was involved with the stolen car that we had just recovered. We also determined at that time that that suspect was 12 years old.
Meanwhile, the stolen Dodge Charger was spotted in the Newcastle area. The vehicle drove away when police attempted to stop it. Because there was a danger to the public and a weapon had been used in the carjacking, police pursued the vehicle, which ended near Coal Creek Trail when two of the tires of the car blew out during the pursuit.
Two suspects flee from the car, including the driver, and run off into the woods behind me on the trail system. Officers arrived, and we took a suspect in custody who remained behind in the back of the stolen vehicle.
The two suspects eventually surrendered when police surrounded them in the trail. Police say the three suspects were 14 years old.
Juveniles of this age involved in violent criminal activity, it's in my 25 years the first time I've ever seen anything like it, and it is shocking.
And a spokesperson with the Bellevue Police Department told me that they're still waiting on an update on the whereabouts of those weapons involved in these cases. For now, live in Bellevue, Brady Wakayama, King 5 News.
All right, Brady Wakayama. So let's see. Let's get to the main event, man. Salute to everybody, man. Let's see what's going on.
Here's some new and shocking details in yesterday's triple shooting involving just one suspect. According to court documents, race may have been a factor in those shootings.
Fox 14's Alejandro Guzman is in the newsroom now with the very latest. Ali.
Hannah Bryan, this is a shooting that originally seemed random, but it doesn't seem so random anymore. Court documents providing more insight into what may have motivated the shooter to open fire. And according to investigators, this attack has a racial component. Now, those documents just released tonight say that throughout the interview with detectives, Mamadou Diallo stated numerous times that he does not like black people and he does not like spending time with black.
Mamadou Diallo?
I'm confused.
I mean, it kind of makes sense because Africans don't like American black people. So somebody finally did something about it.
Salute the Deluxe 247, aka Cal Ripken, aka the real MVP. Once again, man.
But why don't they like them though? Why?
Who's that? Is that Rob's son? What's up, Rob's son?
Yo. If I'm Rob's son, then he's your grandfather, dog.
Hey, man, no, man, that's your daddy, man.
That's your granddaddy, cuz. That's your granddaddy, then.
Rob is your daddy, man. What's up,
man? Call him abuelo. Call him grandpa.
What's going on, man?
Shit, I'm just wondering. She said that Africans don't like some people, why don't they like them?
Because of their head texture. Oh yeah, that's right. They got the same head texture. But maybe I don't know, man.
Tonight say that to what may have motivated the shooter to open fire. And according to investigators, this attack has a racial component. Now, those documents just released tonight say that throughout the interview with detectives, Mamadou Diallo stated numerous times that he does not like black people and he does not like spending time with black people. Why? Well, according to those court docs, Diallo told police, quote, "We're always killing each other."
I think,
this is the sunniest logic.
Listen, we need to get that lady from that other video, to figure this one out for him.
He does not like black people because they're killing each other.
The chubby lady.
And as a black person, he's going to kill some more.
The chubby lady from the other video can be used. Yeah,
he's going to kill them because they keep killing each other, and he's technically one of them. But I get where he's coming from, man. Black people are annoying.
And the way he looks at it, he's actually saving black lives.
He's got the solution.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is look, he snapped. He's probably a cab driver or something like that, some service. If he probably works in the service field industry, and if you work in that industry, man, you just hate black people, man. If you work in service, it just is what it is.
People are asking in the chat if he has the same name as a man that was killed in Brooklyn, and it is Amadou Diallo.
Amadou Diallo. Mamadou. That's Amadou. I think this dude is Mamadou, but it's very similar, man.
That's a super common name.
Yeah, very, very common in that part of the world. Mamadou
Diallo is
Diallo
very
is
common.
a very common name.
Oh, okay.
Man. What's going on? Is that Sonia Scrapbook?
Yes. Good evening, everyone.
Are
Howdy.
you a son or a glider, man?
I wanted to ask you about these terms. Is this part of your channel? You came up with them? Did you coin these terms?
Yeah, I mean, technically, I mean, I only one I didn't coin was Prairie Patel. I got shout out to whoever
I'm
came
trying to
up
keep
with
track. I didn't realize that was a thing in the show. So you have gliders, you have tigers,
glacier gliders.
gunmen.
Glacier gliders are racist, and some people are victims, and
And why do you call the white people gliders?
because they're glacier gliders. They just shortened it to gliders.
Oh, okay, I got it.
As
Well,
we
I don't know.
ski.
I'm not woke, but the
They,
woke people would call me Latinx. So
they
what's
play
that?
hockey.
Oh,
They play
you're
hockey.
hombrito. You're an hombrito. You're an hombrito, man.
Hombrita.
An hombrita.
And that goes for both genders?
No,
Yeah.
hombrito's the guys. Hombrita is the. We don't do the exit over here.
Yeah, no X, man. No X, man. So you're an hombrita, man. That's what's up, man. What country or what city are you from?
I guess you would call me New Yorican, born and raised here, but my parents are from Puerto Rico.
Oh, so your son men chase you around the streets all day, huh?
Well, not now, because I'm in the woods.
But when you were in New York, they were, right?
Yeah, back in the day.
The son men was trying to holler all the time, wasn't they?
When you're young, everybody's trying to holler.
Are you an Afro Latina or abuelita?
Good question. I guess I'm in the middle. Pecan tan or something.
Yeah, me too.
So, didn't the whole like Sun People glacier gliders come from Leonard Jeffries?
I don't know Leonard Jeffries. Who is Leonard Jeffries? He's a baseball
Leonard
player?
Jeffries is Hakeem Jeffries' uncle, and he was a professor at City College, and he came up with this course that taught how the white blue-eyed devil was developed by some crazy doctor in Africa. And
Yakub.
Right, exactly. And he
on the island.
And he escaped right on the island, and he escaped and went to the north and lived in this cave.
That ain't where I got it from. That's Dr. York, Malakazi York, and all that bullshit. I didn't get it from that. I just came up with it off the top of my head one day. I literally just said what came to my head on the video one day, and it just stuck.
Well, I know they didn't have, because they called the gliders were called the ice people, right?
Mm.
And they didn't have names for the other groups, so but
Sun Man is just obvious, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Hombritos is because Trump called them bad hombres, and I always thought that was the funniest clip. That clip, man. Well, that clip will make me laugh at church. I would bust out laughing in the middle. Church.
Well, he's not wrong. We bad to the bone, baby.
Let me call him bad. He said he got a lot of bad hombres.
Yo, we bad to the bone, baby. Remember that.
Yeah. Salute, man.
The interview with detectives, Mamadou Diallo stated numerous times that he does not like Black people and he does not like spending time with Black people. Why? Well, according to those court docs, Diallo told police, quote, they're always killing each other. Each one of the victims he shot at or had an altercation with are Black, according to police. Now, police say Diallo's shooting spree started Thursday afternoon when he walked into the Safeway on 3rd Street in Renton. He made a purchase and shoved a 76-year-old Black man to the ground as he walked out.
The elderly, man. Yeah, we howl on elderly, man. Like it's that's a sickness, man. That needs to be studied. You want to study something? Study that. Why Black people are so hard on elderly people. So it's
it could go back to tribal Africa, honestly.
Yeah, something.
Because you're trying to step in their position of power.
I think it's just because they're vulnerable.
Yeah,
some men see them as weak.
Yeah, the weakness. Yeah, the inherent weakness. You just have to, like, as a sudden, man, you can't. It's like a magnet. They're so weak, Like he's like probably like hunchback with a cane, walking at like a mile a fucking hour and shit. And it's just you just can't help it. You gotta fucking just push him.
In 4 minutes, police got another 911 call for a shooting at 64 Rainier Avenue South. These are images from the aftermath. Diallo allegedly shot at a man inside his SUV 7 times and shattered the driver's window. The victim, a black man, was shot in the leg and stomach. He was taken to Harborview and is still in critical condition. Now, 20 minutes later, shots are fired at the Kia dealership on Southwest Grady Way. Police say Diallo shot an employee in the thigh, hip, and wrist. That employee ran to the service bay for help. Witnesses told police they saw an older gold Dodge Journey drive away from the scene. Now, at 2:09 p.m., deputies with the King County Sheriff's Office received several calls saying a man had been shot at point-blank range in SeaTac. The victim lying on the ground with several gunshots to his chest. He remains in critical condition, but deputies say 5 casings were found on the ground. Witnesses there also reported the shooter got away in a gold Dodge. Worried he would strike again, officers and troopers tracked him down. Their air support unit spotted him just headed southbound on Air 5.
We happened to have a SeaTac sergeant that was in the right place at the right time that happened to see the vehicle within just a few minutes after the shooting.
Now Diallo is facing 3 counts of assault. A judge did set bail at $3 million, and he's expected to be in court next week. Court documents also list Diallo's personal information under race. He is listed as black. Back to you.
I love how that's the absolute last thing they said.
Normally they wouldn't say that.
Yeah, but most people won't listen to the whole story. All they're going to do is see black people shot because of their race in the title.
Yeah, you know they're going to make a movie about this, but he's going to be a white guy.
She named the guy way early, so unless it's some glider who had changed his name, you know.
Yeah, the name. They kind of had to.
Most people wouldn't even pick that. They would think it was racist to assume that guy was black by that name.
I mean,
when you're looking at the people that are in this to win this,
Diallo's like Smith in some countries, right?
They said that putting out a description is racist.
That she's coming and shoot on fire and this Umbrella.
Not me, the liberal media.
I think he got tired of how people act here and just like, because a lot of the guys that come over from Africa, they're very well educated, you know, and he just got sick and tired of getting lumped in with them. I don't know.
I think they don't like being mistaken for American sons.
It's very hard though. If you're American son, you know African when you see it. You rarely get them confused with Americans. They have a particular look. They have an earthy look. It would be like if you saw like if you were white and you saw somebody like from like Serbia or something,
or from Poland.
You would know that guy wasn't like from fucking, you know what I'm saying, like some fucking,
from Boston.
Yeah, you know the guys like literally like they got that earthy
phenotype.
Their features are a lot more like, you know, like what's the word? Their features are a lot more
well, they're not diluted.
Yeah.
Even their mannerisms, right? Even the mannerisms are very different.
And the way they wear their hair, the way they wear their clothes, all that stuff.
Yeah, those shiny leather shoes.
Yeah.
The 32-year-old SeaTac man accused of a shooting spree that left 3 people hospitalized made his first court appearance today. Court documents state that after the man was arrested along I-5 in Tacoma, he told police he, quote, doesn't like black people. The 3 people police say he shot are all black men. King 5's Natalie Swaby reports on the new details we are learning today.
In probable cause documents released today, it states that during that interview with police, he denied shooting anyone, but he allegedly did confirm that he recently purchased a pistol, and that pistol and loaded magazines were inside his vehicle. According to investigators, one man allegedly caused 4 different crime scenes.
State of Washington versus Mamadou Diallo.
Mamadou Diallo appeared before a judge today, accused.
Yeah, that means a black man there, man.
He looks. You can tell he's African, the complexion,
and like the way his fingers look. Like his black people, their thumbs don't like our fingernails don't be looking like that. Like they just look. You could just tell, man. He got that like primordial like caveman look. That's how like people like even if you look at like a El Salvadoran or a Mexican with no white blood, they look, you know what I'm saying? They just be looking like real like primitive and shit.
Accused of perpetrating a shooting spree Thursday afternoon. It started near Rainier Avenue in Renton. That's where a suspect allegedly pulled up in his vehicle next to a man who was sitting in his car and started shooting, according to police, who say the same suspect then drove less than a mile to a dealership on Southwest Grady Way, and there was more gunfire.
You know, as a business owner, you stay up late at night worrying about a lot of things. This isn't one of them, so I was really caught off guard.
Matthew Phillips, the CEO at Car Pros, received the call yesterday afternoon that one of his employees was shot.
We're all just in shock. The employee was walking to his car. Someone basically pulled out a gun, shot him, and drove off. It happened very quickly. Nobody really understood what happened. Luckily, we have an employee who is former military that sprung into action to provide immediate first aid.
Who was that employee that sprung into action?
Sunman. I'm gonna go with Sunman.
Sunman for 700. Doug Chuck says someday I hope to come online and talk about our Alaskan tundra patels. Yeah, I like that tundra patels, man. That's hysterical, man.
The guy who worked at that car dealership looked like Drew Carey.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. That's exactly what I thought when I saw this.
Drew Carey before.
As police were investigating the 2 crime scenes in Renton, a third call came in about SeaTac, where another man was shot, and investigators say they believe the same suspect is responsible. A short time later, evidence and witness statements led to this moment, where police say they arrested the suspect.
Dante Drake, your device is not connected. You have to connect your device because StreamYard won't let you up because you're saying your device is not connected. So whoever Dante Drake is trying to get on here, you can't get on because your device is not connected.
On I-5 in Tacoma. It was all part of a traumatic day for Phillips and his employees. He says they're still struggling.
To know that everyone feels a little bit less safe, to know that one of our family members isn't here is heartbreaking.
Today, the judge found probable cause for 3 counts of assault and set bail at $3 million.
$3 million for a Sunman? Wow.
Well, he's not a traditional Sunman.
Yeah, salute to Dylan. Dylan says, check out the Wendy Duane Houston murder. We did that last night, man. Watch last night's live stream, man. We got all the way into that, man.
Keep up.
Seattle, Natalie
Yeah.
Swaby, King 5 News.
And more violence in our area. A shooting rampage spans across the South Sound. 2 men are fighting for their lives, and another is recovering. Thanks for joining us for the news at 10. I'm Jamie Tompkins.
And I'm David Rose. And the shocking part of all of this and how terrible it is, police believe this was all random victims just shot going about their day. Fox 13's Alejandro Guzman in SeaTac tonight. And Alejandro, you spoke with a man who ran to save one victim's life. So how is everybody feeling in that area tonight, even though the suspect's in custody?
Residents in the area say they're alarmed with the sound of gunfire getting closer and closer to home. In the very latest shooting, a man just shot just a couple of feet away from where we're actually standing. A man rushing to his aid and lending a helping hand. Now, for the folks who have lived here over 20 years, they say they've done so without home surveillance. Now, they say they need it.
Well, I just heard a crack. And I said, well, I don't know what the hell that is.
Residents
Oh, wow. Sunman, old Sunman, man. Elderly Sunman, man. Keep your head on the swivel, bro.
Residents in SeaTac shaken by the sound of gunfire around 2 p.m. Thursday.
I see a dude just laying down. I think he got hit by a car or something.
James, who did not want to be on camera, says he heard 4 rapid shots followed by another. He lives right across from where police say a man fired several gunshots at another. He says his instinct was to run and help.
I was laying down there, I see like the gun shells on the other side of him, and he had 2 in his abdomen, 1 in the chest, and 1 came out through the side of the back.
He says he was shocked and scared, but was focused on helping the man and keeping him alive. While
Wow, that was a sudden man. The guy who sprang the action turned out to be a sudden man. Salute, man.
I told you.
Salute, yeah, man. You called it, man.
Hi, Ark.
Hey, what's up? Is this Dante Drake?
Yes, it is. Sorry, my internet was goofy. So I had to be outside in 29-degree weather. That's pretty nice.
How are you, man?
I'm doing great. I like your show. I like your channel. It's pretty awesome.
How so? How is it awesome?
Well, it's got too much information. The last video I liked. The last video, like a couple of videos ago about that. It was a couple of segments ago about the brainwashing with Seattle Seahawks fan. The guy was wearing a Seahawks jersey. I felt it was sad to watch the brainwashing. And she lives in a nice area, a nice city. Hello?
I don't know how nice it is nowadays,
Yeah.
Is that where you're from?
Granted, I live in Illinois, but
oh, sorry to hear that.
Yeah, well, it's downstate. It's like EIU basically.
Oh, you're like in glider land, nothing but
Yeah,
gliders.
yeah. Basically, well, I was born in Chicago.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and that was in '83, so it would have been
shit.
a presidential election back then.
So you've seen shit, huh?
Yeah, and moved down to the state capital of Illinois.
That's pretty sunny. It's pretty sunny right there.
Yeah, that is. It's for the most part the only high school that's 80% black would be Springfield Southeast. Yeah, that'll be on the east side of the city.
What county are you at nowadays?
I live in Charleston, Illinois.
I have no idea where that's at, but it sounds very glider.
It's what East Illinois University is. It's
okay. It's a college.
like the former Portland Trailblazer, the late great they built a statue of him over him. I forgot the basketball player, but people know what I'm talking about. He played for the Trailblazers back in the early '90s. But yeah, these stories of with these people, it's so sad because, yeah, it's such a sad world that we live in. 40% of the population and blacks are killing each other. It's not supposed to happen.
Are you a Sunman or a glider?
No, I'm black.
You're a Sunman.
Yeah. Yeah,
I thought you were a glider.
Yeah, I'm black. I'm basically I'm light skinned, but I'm raised by a single mom, but at the same time, I like different things. I like sports. I like music. I do listen to rap, but usually I can listen to like Nirvana.
Do you like guns, like Mossy?
No.
Ooh.
I don't like guns, but I like watching movies.
Well, me and Mossy love guns and mayo too.
Yeah, I have no problem with guns. I was celebrating Colin Rittenhouse's victory. Because that didn't have if he was found guilty.
Black people act?
Huh?
Didn't Rittenhouse kill 3 black people or some shit?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I was celebrating his victory because if he doesn't protect himself, he's dead.
Nah, that dude killed 3 white people. They just said he killed black people in the news.
Yeah, I
prefer though he killed 3 Sunman story better.
No, you good. No, but
it just sells. It's like just sells better. You know what I mean?
yeah, it does sound better, but it's not really what happened.
That doesn't matter though. That doesn't matter. What really happened doesn't matter anymore.
Unfortunately,
matters here.
Yeah, in this bubble, in this very tiny bubble, it does though, which is nice.
I mean, considering the fact this is a I've been watching this channel for like a couple of years now, but I also watch other YouTubers, so it's not shocking. But I think what happened is these three triple shooting. This is real sad though, because I mean I like natural cause. I ain't dying too old. Like the old days, it's sad because I don't want to see people, 6 feet under, whether it's a child or anybody. But this is just getting ridiculous out here in the world.
Yeah, it is. It's unfortunate. I don't agree with him though. I don't agree with him when he says that no one should be under 6 feet.
Yeah. Hey, so Dante, have you had any run-ins with the son?
You know what? I have more white friends than black friends for some odd reason. Yeah, I do go to a lot of sporting events, and I noticed for the most part, it would be I would feel basically safe with anybody. I mean, granted, I did graduate high school from a big high school, but that was like 2002. So, but at the same time, I have no problem with hanging out with either too many people or black and white, or it depends what the situation is. If it's a sporting event, I feel safe. Although I've been to a Bulls game a couple of times, so at the United Center, and that's in a dangerous neighborhood.
Okay, so you've been basically unscathed by the son violence in the community.
Yeah, basically, yeah, for the most part. I mean, yeah, I do go to the South Side of Chicago and visit family members, but for the most part, it's been unscathed. I mean, yeah, I remember 2014. Long story short, my mom had to take her actual brother somewhere, and then when they came back, there was a shooting. I remember that, and I remember the woman said, "Oh, my baby's dead." I remember that, and it was sad. I was like, wow. And I remember a couple of years, like probably last year. I remember because I was going to a Chicago Fire game, and while I was going to the south, coming from the south side on the red line, someone told us the reason why the train was so late because I think someone threw themselves on the train track on the red line. I was like, wow. I remember that because the Milwaukee Bucks just beat Atlanta in the semifinals. I remember that. It was 2021.
Okay. Yeah. All right, man. Thank you for your contribution.
Hey, you do a good job, Ak.
Appreciate you, man. Just sit back, man. We're gonna move on with the video. Thank you, man, for your.
You're welcome, buddy.
Medics arrived.
There was pressure on the sides and stuff, and I started seeing more blood. He started figuring out. I'm like, hold on, so I wake him up. Hey, wake up. He started responding more.
The man was taken to Harborview Medical Center where he is in critical condition. However, this was just one of 3 intersections closed off for hours as detectives collected evidence. It all started around 1:30 when Renton police say a man was inside his car when someone drove up and shot into his vehicle multiple times.
This is an incredibly unusual event, really, to happen in any city.
It happened on 64th Rainier Avenue South. The SUV was riddled with bullet holes and the window shattered. About 8 minutes later, another 911 call came in saying another man had been shot outside the Kia dealership on South Grady Way.
Really, what this guy was doing was just pulling up and just randomly shooting at people. And I don't know of the rhyme or reason, but the employee was just going about his business, doing his job.
The suspect took off heading south. SeaTac officers spotted him and followed. Officers were able to pull the driver over and say one person is now in custody. Still, residents are concerned as they say crime only continues to spike.
It's bad. It's bad. There's always something going on. There's always gunshots going off.
The investigation still in its very early stages, yet police say there appears to be no connection between any of the victims. Again, 2 men still in critical condition tonight. We're going to stay on top of this and bring you the very latest.
Okay, man. So yeah, the Renton shooting is this goddamn son, man. Ain't that a bitch? Who would have thought that, man? I didn't look into the story. I wanted it to be raw. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to, know the same amount as everybody else. And I'm floored by that. I didn't know. I was like, wow, this was a fucking African. I thought we finally had some real glider racism, man. Crazy.
Yo, forget my ignorance, but where is Renton?
Outside of Seattle.
All right, got you.
Is it liberal just like Seattle?
I'm pretty sure if that dad is any indication, then yeah, it's a liberal town.
Like, were they supporting the Summer of Love?
Oh, of course, man. I can't see anywhere within like 300 miles of Seattle not being, you know what I'm saying?
Because I hear that wherever they have
sidewalks, all that shit.
Liberal cities, that the suburbs are different. Is this a suburb?
Well, that's not
true. That would be like Eastern Oregon is a little bit different from Portland. So you
that's
have
not
to
true though.
Get far out.
DC, it's not like that in DC. How about New York? I don't know about New York or Philly. I don't know, but I know DC and Baltimore, the suburbs are extremely woke.
Over here, they're not necessarily woke, but they're starting to become woke.
Okay.
They're voting that way anyway.
Oh, the whole of the Washington State coastline is all refugees from California.
Oh God.
And aren't they the ones that they want to secede? Like they want to be part of Idaho, or am I confusing it with some other place?
No, that's eastern. That's the eastern portion of the state.
Yeah. I forgot what the name of that city is. Whoever that school is, whoever Pullman, yeah. Pullman, Washington.
Oh, okay. I looked it up. It says the political climate in Renton is strongly liberal. They voted Democrat in every presidential election since 2000.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
75% Democrat.
Yeah, definitely, man. I mean, anytime you got a dad getting a guy, they've adopted a black daughter. When you have white people adopting black kids, and then the kids like giving them shit, it's like yes.
Well, that girl that was talking before about her dad that he didn't understand her because she was black. The two parents that they had there are adopted. I mean, they adopted her.
I mean, I'm assuming that they adopted her. I mean, she's not. I mean,
yeah, because I only heard the father talking and I didn't see the parents. And then when I saw, I guess, the mom, and then it threw
I was
me
just
off.
assuming that. I mean, I don't know for a fact.
A school crossing guard says a driver spit on him and then slapped him after asking the driver to stop at a stop sign while children were getting out of school. That driver has been arrested.
The crossing guard talked to ABC 13's Derek Lewis, explaining to him exactly what happened here. Derek joins us live with the story tonight. Derek.
Yeah, Eric and Gina, the crossing guard says he was simply directing traffic when the driver ran the stop sign. He says when he tried to flag that driver down, that is when things took a turn.
Give me an ID on this guy.
Where is this again? Is this
Houston.
in Houston?
Area.
In Burrito.
Area.
I tried to stop him and talk to him, and
It was a glider, I think.
Shujat Qureshi, also known as Mr. Q, says when the driver finally stopped, he got out and spit on him.
Hey, you guys that are new, if you're Not talking. Please mute yourself.
You know, it hits me here. And the next thing I know is he's opened his door and come out and gave me one. Wow, wow.
This happened on a busy Thursday afternoon as Mr. Q helped students cross the street safely, a job he's been doing for 5 years.
He had no regards for the crossing guard.
Came out of the car and slapped me.
Tony Flournoy saw it happen in front of her house and called 911.
After I called them, one of the officers was coming around the corner like he usually do. Always roll me through the neighborhood, and I waved him down. And that's when he told the crossing guard to come go with him.
They asked me to come down and tell them what happened.
Because they had arrested the guy down the street.
Klein ISD police arrested 27-year-old Tom Corella. Mr. Q just
Tom Corella, a fucking Italian, man. Hey, Paulie.
Right. Shame on you, Ike.
Yeah.
You said on Brito? All right.
I mean,
No, you know a glider when they said slapped and spit on somebody, it's got to be a glider.
But don't they spit on the ground typically, the Italians? Like,
Yeah,
you.
Yeah, but he's an Italian in Houston. He's just a glider.
True.
Yeah. Also, he's not like, in the mob. He's not like.
Maybe he's a huge Sopranos fan. You don't know.
Whoa.
Well, Bafangulo, you.
Oh.
7-year-old Tom Corella. Mr. Q just wanted Corella to show some remorse.
I said, if he apologizes right now, I don't have anything to say. The policeman said, no, he's going to jail.
Corella has been charged with injury to the elderly.
And it's unsafe.
Flournoy says she's grateful police arrested the driver because her niece walks to school. For years, she says she's been fighting to get speed bumps to make drivers like Corella slow down.
Depending on where they put the speed bumps, they won't have no choice but to stop or it's going to tap their car.
The attack didn't stop Mr. Q from returning to work and helping students cross the street after school.
It's only an hour in the morning, an hour in the evening.
So none of the murders in Houston could have made top billing on that?
Mistake, getting a Houston area woman banned from Walmart. Fox 26's Matthew Seedorf live tonight. And Matthew, this is a $5 mistake and maybe something that we all could learn from.
Yeah, definitely, Jonathan. This woman says that she just accidentally forgot to scan something at checkout. Then they accused her of stealing, and now she's banned from Walmart.
So I forgot to scan it.
There was no forgetting. It just got thrown in the back.
Heated moments in the back room of a Houston area Walmart.
It's not like I'm a criminal.
Paige Warren being questioned over a pack of candy. Were you trying to steal Reese's?
No, not at all. No. I didn't want to steal the Reese's. I mean, the second he stopped me, I was like, is something wrong? If something didn't scan, I'm happy to go back and pay.
Paige had been to this store in Montgomery, buying $31 worth of ingredients for Rice Krispie treats.
I went to self-checkout, checked myself out.
She claims she accidentally didn't scan a $5 bag of Reese's.
The security guy stopped me and he was like, hey, can I see your receipt? He was like, yeah, you didn't scan your bag of Reese's. Proceeded to take me to the back of Walmart's holding cell room. Don't you think if I wanted to steal everything, I'd just walk out?
For roughly an hour, Paige defended herself.
I understand it happens, but mistakes happen as well.
Her husband outside waiting in the car with their 2 kids.
He specific.
Some sister would see that and still see white privilege. I guarantee you. A sister would still see white privilege in this. If that was one of us, they would have threw us on the ground. Like, this white woman's getting fucking. They took her in the back for $5. I mean, hey, man.
And you know what? These stores need to, and this is for everybody, with these self-checkouts, they need to realize this shit's going to happen.
But aren't people walking out with half the store everywhere now?
Yeah, that's the thing.
And they're not stopping to check half of it out at the fucking self-checkout either.
Yeah.
They're just rolling out the door with the cart.
Pounds of clothes, TVs,
yeah,
detergent, everything.
Yeah, the stealing is crazy.
I think they took hammers from Home Depot.
Yeah, it's crazy that she got caught up. Well, this is the world you gliders have created. You gliders have created this world. where you get the shit into the stick. Joy.
Stopped me and he was like, hey, can I see your
gliders.
receipt? He was like, yeah, you didn't scan your bag of Reese's. Proceeded to take me to the back of like Walmart's holding cell room. Don't you think if I wanted to steal everything, I'd just walk out?
For roughly an hour, Paige defended herself.
I understand it happens, but mistakes happen as well.
Her husband outside waiting in the car with their 2 kids.
He like specifically asked me, had I ever been in a room like this before? And it started to lead down like in my head a path of like, what are you accusing me of being a criminal?
They didn't have a reasonable response, I think, for detaining her over an hour in the back of a Walmart for stealing less than $5 worth of goods.
Mariah Solis, an attorney in Houston.
She may have a civil injury claim, actually, for how they treated her or intentional infliction of emotional distress. She was probably very concerned that she may be charged with theft over this act that she did not intentionally do.
Paige posted about what happened to Facebook. One person responding that the same thing happened to her. She spent $140 on groceries and forgot to scan a $3 item.
Yeah, I'm banned from Walmart over a bag of Reese's.
A mother of 2 now not allowed at Walmart.
I'm happy to go pay for them.
Not happy with how this was handled.
I hope maybe they'll change their practices. I really do. I mean, it's all over, not just Texas, not just here.
We did reach out to Walmart. So far tonight, we haven't heard back. We're live on the Southwest side. Matthew Seedorf, Fox 26 News.
In light of Mayor Lori Lightfoot's recent campaign email that went out to CPS teachers asking them to get students to volunteer for her reelection campaign, some CPD police sources tell us they feel like they're being asked to campaign through this new police initiative. On Friday, citywide command staff and patrol officers met at CPD's 10th District before canvassing portions of North Lawndale and other parts of the West Side as part of the police department's new crime prevention community engagement initiative.
A lot of people just want to keep their house, keep peace.
West Side resident Jermaine Mansfield says he wants to see a response like this when crimes are reported.
Well, all these police squad cars when 2 shots fired, 3 shots fired, 10 shots fired. When
They're always there.
CPD declined to talk to
Yeah,
us.
they're there moments later, getting fucking cussed out, by community members, and
getting stormed by the community,
and getting
getting yelled at by the 20 cell phones that are fucking recording everything they do.
Yeah, and getting stonewalled when they canvass and ask for did anybody see anything. So like, yeah, these people are fucking up. This is
more
why
than that. They're getting laughed at while they're asking who shot this kid.
Yeah,
they're getting laughed at.
This is why people don't like. This is why people don't like black people. That's why I think I was shooting. That's what I got.
Lori Lightfoot is busy busting down churches because you're unvaccinated.
Shit, crazy.
Camera, but provided a statement in part saying working alongside community members to solve problems and create solutions for safer neighborhoods is an essential part of our public safety effort. The Crime Prevention Community Engagement Initiative is another important opportunity to strengthen communication and partnership with our residents as we strive to make every neighborhood safer. This all-in effort includes CPD members from community policing officers to department leadership, as well as residents and community organizers working side by side. The initiative started Thursday, January the 6th. The command staff and patrol officers are supposed to meet one-on-one with residents, sharing crime prevention strategies and taking requests for city services. In light of Mayor Lightfoot's campaign reaching out to students for her campaign, some police sources feel like they're being used as political guinea pigs for the mayor.
There's talk around headquarters that she's literally using command staff, exempt rank members, to do campaigning on her crime stats from 2022 that literally are so over the top wonderful.
Mayor Lightfoot has stated publicly that she did not order the initiative and that Superintendent David Brown and his leadership team created the program.
I think it's a good thing that the white shirts are out there, leading by example, and talking to community members about what resources are available for them, particularly focused on crime.
In spite of the new program, Jermaine says his neighborhood needs more resources when it comes to effectively responding to crime.
So respond when you get a 911 call about shots being fired. We are no more than maybe 150 feet away from the police station's back door. It should always be. And this is one of the highest crime blocks in the area.
I wonder why.
Mayor Lightfoot has stated that this initiative won't just focus on the west and south sides, but citywide in areas with historic and recent high rates of violence. Reporting live tonight from CPD's 10th District, I'm Jewel Hillary, WGN News.
Yo, how did Chicago elect Beetlejuice as their mayor?
What do you mean? You sound surprised by what you just said. What are you
A
talking
black
about?
woman.
That's not a black woman. That's Beetlejuice.
But I heard about what she was doing, right? She damn near might as well have these cops knocking on doors, passing out flyers for her. She might as well have these cops wearing a band saying, "Vote for this bitch, this sister."
Oh, she wants all the students to do the same.
Yeah, for extra credit. You heard about that?
But did you see the report about the schools and all the sexual abuse?
Yeah.
Why doesn't she just send the cops into the schools and arrest all the teachers?
Right. I did hear about that, but it's not on the news for some odd reason. That's not all.
It's like 2 kids getting raped a day by the teachers at school.
No, I read a report on it into detail. What they're doing is abhorrent. They're grooming these kids, but she was trying to have kids campaign for her, volunteer for extra credit. Talk about unethical.
Crazy.
That's some
right,
bullshit.
That's so unethical.
That's actually illegal.
Yeah.
Right. But she's being investigated, but we know that means nothing. But why in the fuck does a sister get to say and do this outrageous shit?
And she's always cursing out her staff. Remember when she got busted on the recording?
Right.
Chicago is just known for ballot stuffing and being really corrupt. So the voting doesn't even matter.
It's MAGA country.
But we see the same thing with the female mayor of New Orleans. We see it with the female staff of
The one that
Baltimore.
flies first class.
Yeah, we see it with the DA in Baltimore.
In this
just open, blatantly illegal behavior.
And this nakedly
just excused.
In this
You can't call them.
nakedly disgusting racist country.
If you say anything about them, you're a racist and a misogynist. Misogynoir.
Yeah. Unfortunately, you can't.
And a rainbow hater.
Yeah, that's the worst one of all.
You can't even speak on this shit, and they don't. So, yeah.
Fort Worth police say the man wanted for a violent robbery at a gas station that ended with the death of a store clerk's dog is a serial armed robber. This is 18-year-old Donovan Copeland. Fort Worth police say he robbed at least 4 businesses, all within a mile of each other, starting in December. The most recent robbery happened this week, and police say he has the same MO. He pulls out a gun, uses it, steals money, and steals cars. Fox 4's Stephen Dye, live at Fort Worth Police Headquarters with the story. Stephen.
Steve, we learned a lot more today about this string of robberies. Fort Worth investigators saying the 18-year-old who allegedly killed a dog and robbed a gas station last week is connected to multiple crimes in North Texas.
Fort Worth police say the man wanted for killing a dog at a gas station, then stealing from a clerk is wanted for a string of equally violent crimes.
He's one of the most dangerous and violent young men I've come across, and I've been in robbery for 12 years.
Friday, Fort Worth detectives identified their suspect as 18-year-old Donovan Copeland. Investigators linked Copeland to 3 other armed robberies in the same area dating back to December.
In all of these robberies, someone was either shot at or pistol whipped by the suspect. All the victims' cars were stolen and were all later recovered at separate locations in West Fort Worth.
The first robbery happened at a convenience store in Saginaw on December 7th. Detectives say Copeland allegedly shot at the clerk, missed, but took money and took his car. A few weeks later, on December 27th, investigators say Copeland and someone else robbed a game room. The victim in that case was pistol whipped, and again, money was stolen, and so was the victim's car. On January 2nd, police say he shot and killed Peanut, a store clerk's dog, held her at gunpoint, and then stole money and her car.
This person, he does not have any qualms about pulling a trigger.
Fort Worth police say Copeland's most recent crime happened Wednesday. And again, they say he pulled out a gun, fired shots in the ceiling, stole money, and stole the clerk's vehicle.
It's crazy, like he's actually walking in and actually shooting his gun. Like, it's not like he's just coming in to scare you or anything, but he's actually firing his gun. So that's scary,
Alex didn't want his last name given or his face shown. He owns a store between 2 of the 4 robbery locations. On Friday, a sign was posted on his front door saying it's locked and asking customers to knock in order to get inside.
It's better to be safe than sorry, you know. So for me, it's the best option is just to lock my door, because since I know him, I have seen his face, you know. So I know if he walks up to my door, I know like, hey, my door is locked.
Police eventually identified Copeland with information that came from the public, but they still need the public's help to actually find him. Detectives went to his home in Saginaw and say they found evidence.
Multiple firearms are located, as well as physical evidence that we believe are linked to the series of aggravated robberies.
He was not home, but his parents were, and they're now cooperating.
If you see this person as a citizen, assume that he is armed and extremely dangerous.
Copeland.
Wow.
Does it seem to me that you could use a stock photo for 90% of these guys?
90?
With the twisties?
I mean,
you could just use a stock photo of young black male with twisties.
How many stores did he rob? 4? I'm surprised he hasn't got shot yet.
Well, say goodbye to all your stores. It's gonna in Latin America, they have these usually they'll have stores where they have the bars on the door, and you just ask the person for what you want, and they hand it to you through a slot. They don't
Either that or you're gonna have to slide your ID so they can collect your info before you walk in the store.
Yeah, but they got to think of things 10 steps down the line. So, like, you have a place where people just come up and you slide their product through the window. Now you got sunmen hanging out outside around there. So you have to have a contingency plan for how you're going to keep sunmen from hanging out around there that are going to rob the people once they get their stuff. So you always have to think 10 steps ahead with the sunman, even though the sunman never thinks 10 steps ahead.
Yeah, you're gonna have to have armed security. Like in Dominican Republic, they have guys and they'll have shotguns, and they're just standing outside of plazas or stores.
It's going to start looking like Brazil with the fucking robberies.
No, but not even
with everybody carrying.
Not even on the block, but you have to have people around the corner. You have to have the whole perimeter. Because
it's going to be shopping compounds. It's not going to be malls. The parking's going to have to be protected. Everything.
It's rough.
Yo, Mayo, everybody's already carrying down here. I mean, only in like DFW and Houston, where they're leaning a little more left. Austin, you see less, but you come down north of San Antonio where I'm at, and you're gonna get shot. I mean, you're not gonna get to 4 stores. You're gonna get shot in the first one. I mean, I'm standing in line, and at least 8 people got a piece on them.
But those are Democrat strongholds
right, exactly. That's why you gotta stay away from those damn cities.
Yeah. Same thing with Austin.
Yeah, I'm not far from. I'm like 30 minutes south of Austin. It's a shithole.
Yep. It used to be a great place.
Used to be. That's why I never leave home without it. Get off me, cat. Man, I want to tell y'all, I appreciate y'all very much. Y'all give me a little bit of hope in this bleak world. I found your channel not too long ago, and I was like, look at all these reasonable people talking truth. Not scared to say what's out there. I mean, y'all are doing God's work out here. I love it.
Come on, I'm a racist.
I'm definitely racist.
Ox a sellout. We're all bad people here, man.
I hate all of them.
I'm a far right Latina.
Yeah, right.
Those are very dangerous. I heard.
Yeah, I'm a cool man.
Yeah, it's funny how they want all these Hispanics come over the border, the Mexicans come over the border because they want them to vote blue, but they turn those Cubans away from Florida as fast as they can because they vote red.
Yeah, they're blaming everything on the Latinos. All those far right Latinos.
Are you a glider or are you a sunman?
Who, me?
Yeah.
I'm a glider. But I thought I was cool when I was younger, so I spent my entire youth around sunmen down in Dallas and Houston.
You would have sent it to Tupac?
Oh yeah, my first cassette tape that I bought was Straight Outta Compton, baby. as a 12-year-old white kid in the suburbs, rolling down the freaking street on my dyno. Fuck the police.
I just hope that you were not saying the song word parts. You were saying along.
Hell yeah, I'm saying. Yes, I had to, dude.
He was singing with Kamala.
Listen, man, I've always said the sun word parts because all my friends did. And like I get canceled quick out here. I tell them, even around people I don't know. I mean, I'm not disrespectful of people, but even around people I don't know, I just say, hey, man. I used to throw at them. I just say, I'm from Dallas, which doesn't mean anything, but it would always confuse them, and they just wouldn't say anything. But I'm not gonna stop singing. Who was that? Who was that rapper on stage that brought that white girl up there and then shamed her for freaking singing along?
Yeah, these people. It's just bizarre, man. This guy right here. He shot the dog, man. I mean, son, man.
Flynn is tied to several other crimes in North Texas, according to investigators. They say back in September, Denton County law enforcement arrested him for unlawful use of a vehicle, and then in October, in Parker County, his car was being searched. He was put in the back of a squad car. He escaped, according to investigators, and they say that a gun and drugs were found in his car allegedly. And then in November in White Settlement, he allegedly assaulted a woman and stole her car. So a string of crimes, armed and dangerous, and police are really.
I mean, and how many of these guys just like do these strings of crimes? Not even counting the guy in Renton, but like just the string of carjackings and robberies just all over the place. It's literally like Grand Theft Auto, man. Literally.
And they're walking free in this racist ass country.
It's just, I mean, it's getting worse, man. It's getting worse.
I feel like they try to get all their charges. Like they do as much as they can in one little stint. So eventually they get in front of the judge. They just lump them all together, give them some sentence running concurrent. So you get 4 months instead of them stacking on each other.
These guys are thinking about getting caught. I don't think they think like that. I just don't think someone thinks like that.
Well, they need to change, because you heard that unauthorized use of a car. 20 years ago that would have been Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, unauthorized use of a car.
Like the joyriding charges and all that bullshit.
Yeah, it's when you have the key. If you have the keys, it's unauthorized use. I had a buddy get charged with the same thing. If you got the keys to the car, it's unauthorized use instead of Grand Theft Auto.
Jesus Christ.
And that's literally a law change away in the state.
It's idiotic, because it's one thing. It's meant to keep people from getting in trouble that are borrowing, that like they took their dad's car, whatever. They didn't really steal it, but if he stole that woman's keys and then stole her car, how's that any different? Like, why is it not Grand Theft Auto? It makes no sense.
Well,
they're not going to have that crime
but
anymore.
the intent behind it is different. That's the difference.
No, the intent. What I'm saying is the intent. Whether he takes her keys or he freaking sticks a screwdriver in it's the same thing. He just has the keys. Why would it not be the same charge? It's retarded.
You heard Brianna Joy Gray talking about the 13-year-old. Property is meaningless now.
Oh yeah.
You can't defend your property, so you can't have it even be a crime for someone to take your property or misuse it.
I tell you what, that's one good thing about being down here in Texas is you can defend your property. You can shoot a man in the back running away from your house, unless you're in Austin.
You can shoot a man in Texas running away from your neighbor's house.
Exactly, and your car. Your car's an extension of your house.
Yep.
That guy who shot his the wife's ex-husband on his own porch or something, he got away with it.
Yeah, I saw that. That was
blow somebody away.
That was ugly, man.
That was only because he stepped up on the porch.
I didn't see that. What was that?
Yeah.
It was like a dispute, and they just left him there. Like the wife didn't even run out there to help him. She just left it there. I'm calling the police. She was like, I'm calling the police. That shit was crazy. I almost did a video on that, but it was on my desk, but shit just got in the way, man. But
where was that one at?
Texas.
And that was right around the time, right after the Rittenhouse trial.
Yeah, it was 2 gliders, and I think it was the ex-husband went over to the boyfriend and the wife's home, maybe to pick up the kids or something, and they got in an argument, and he stepped up, and the boyfriend shot him.
Well, I don't know if y'all talked about this already, but I think it was in Austin that dude, that ex-army dude, was driving his car, and that
he shot that Antifa fag.
yeah, and they're charging him. They're charging that the dude pointed a rifle at him, so the army guy shot him from his car, took him down.
And
they're
let
charging
me
him.
guess, it went to grand jury.
Yeah, they're charging him.
Of course, yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yep.
Is Texas in trouble?
Parts of it.
Yes. Sadly, the whole state is actually.
The whole state is in trouble.
In 10 years, it'll be Democrat. The way it's going.
With all the Californians moving down here, yeah, that's a problem. There used to be a billboard in Austin a long time ago that said, "Welcome, Californians, welcome to Texas. Please stop voting for the people that caused you to move here in the first place." But they're taking over. They're
Yeah, but
moving
you
down
can't
here.
ask. They have to. The Republicans have to fortify it.
Yeah,
Right.
it's
That's why I'm a
on-
secessionist, baby. That's why I say you want America to be what it was. Come down to Texas and let's start over.
They want to do it. Are they trying?
Oh yeah, I've been a member of the Texas nationalist movement for 20 years.
Oh, wow.
And it's in their agreement with joining the United States that they can leave.
That's actually not true. But anybody that tries to tell you it's illegal is ridiculous, because that means the United States itself is illegal. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I saw an interview with someone, but I don't recall his name, and he was breaking it all down about how, and they got a lot of
probably Daniel
interest in
Miller.
that.
It's probably Daniel Miller. He's the president of the Texas Nationalist Movement, and it's not about hating America. It's about wanting to be what America's supposed to be. And I told my family 20 years ago. I said, listen, you see all this craziness that's going on in the Northeast and over on the West Coast. You think we're going to dial that back, or do you think it's going to slowly get worse and trickle down?
But
here?
also, let's talk
We gotta
about
get out.
uniting. How can you unite with people when you're totally the opposite? I mean, we're like,
It's too big. Well, the founding fathers had concerns about governing the vast expanse of the 13 colonies. Think about how much bigger the U.S. is now. We're too far away from central government for it to be any. The biggest thing that changed, that hurt us the most, is the senators used to be picked by the state legislature.
Amen.
And when they took that out, what they did, because nobody's got time, nobody's paying attention to their Washington senator, but you are more connected to your state senator, and the state legislature could recall the senator at any time for any reason. They could say you're done and bring him back, and that made them accountable, kept them from voting for all this nonsense.
Yep. And it kept the corporate money out of the elections for the Senate too.
It kept them accountable, kept the corporate money out. They did all these moves on purpose. But
are you a conservative?
No, you can't put me in that box. I would vote right because the left is crazy, but I'm an advocate for legal prostitution, legal drugs, that kind of stuff.
So what about libertarian?
Yeah, kind of, but libertarians are pussies. And I don't
libertarians, their expanse is too big.
Yeah, and I don't think you need you need speed limits, for God's sakes. I don't want.
They're too liberal.
Yeah,
they're the real liberals.
They're too. You can't be the Wild West. You got to have some rules, but
you have to be able to leave your house to go to work and feel safe.
Being a libertarian is kind of like a cool thing to say. It's like a chic thing to. I think it's like a thing people say to just be interesting. Like, I'm more interesting than you, type thing. What I'm saying? I don't think a lot of people really buy into that libertarian stuff. I think the majority of people that say they're libertarian are doing it to just because they're probably not as interested without it. Let's give me a city.
Hey, I have a city.
Okay, go ahead.
London had a drive-by at a funeral, and a bunch of kids and adults were critically injured.
In England?
London, England.
But they don't have violence in England because they don't have guns.
Absolutely, right? Like the BLM lady found out.
Yeah, right. Can we stop saying gun violence, too?
Okay.
London, England.
It's okay. Let me see if this is it.
A peaceful memorial service that ended like this.
Oh, shit.
As mourners ran screaming after a suspected drive-by shooting outside a church in Euston. 6 people were injured, 4 women and a 7-year-old girl in a life-threatening condition. A 12-year-old's also been discharged from hospital with a minor leg injury.
We heard like a loud, like up sound, and then, but I didn't really take anything into it. And then my friend was like, wait, was that a gunshot?
Queen Macaulay was visiting her friend in flats next to the church when she heard a gunshot and saw people running away.
We literally saw like people and like kids like running towards this direction. So we're like, nah, let's come back upstairs. But then while we were downstairs, we literally saw like this black Mercedes literally sped off.
The memorial service was that of a mother and daughter who died within a month of each other last year. 20-year-old Sarah Sanchez passed away from leukemia in November. It's not known whether the victims attended the memorial service, but police were called here just before 1:30 this afternoon after reports that shots were fired from a moving vehicle, which was then driven away from the scene. What was supposed to be a peaceful event ended in an act of violence. A Metropolitan Police statement reads, any shooting incidents unacceptable, but for multiple people, including 2 children, to be injured in a shooting in the middle of a Saturday afternoon is shocking. Our thoughts are with all the victims, but in particular with the 7-year-old girl who's in a life-threatening condition and with her family. An investigation into this dreadful attack is already well underway, involving local officers and specialist detectives. As behind the police cordon, forensic officers assessed the scene and looked for evidence. An appeal for information went out to the community to help bring justice to those responsible. Adele Robinson, Sky News.
Sounds like
Straight out of
Memphis, Tennessee.
Compton. Straight out of Compton.
Sounds like
Wow.
Memphis, Tennessee.
Wow. I mean, that I'm floored by that, man.
We're spreading that culture, Ock.
Jesus Christ.
And Europeans love to say that Americans are crazy and guns and blah, blah, blah. But
But they don't know how big this country is either.
Well, you don't know if there's some people, first of all.
And they don't understand. They don't understand how few of Americans are responsible for the crime. Like it's literally like 2% of the population that's
Not
responsible
even that,
for like
Ock.
90% of the crime.
It's
They
not
also-
even that, man. It's tenths of a percent.
No, what I'm talking about, Mayo, is not the actual ones, but I'm talking about the people in that lifestyle. The
Oh,
people,
yeah.
the people who are in that hood, street, Blackistanian son lifestyle, that really in them trenches, really out there doing that stuff, are like probably 2 to 3% of the population of the whole country. Now, listen, a lot of sons that aren't in that lifestyle fucking blow people's brains out every day. So that's why I said, like, it's probably, I would say 2 to 3% of the population is responsible for maybe 75% of the crime.
And you got to understand that the people over in England, that there's a reason that we separated from them. You know what I mean? Like they don't have the same mindset about being, you know, they're just taking up the ass from their government. I mean, we do too, but at least we pretend like we're going to fight back. But they don't understand. I mean, they understand it, but they don't. The average person doesn't get that, like that mind frame. Like I might have to fight off the government. Like just like the liberals over here, like you're going to fight the government. I was like, yeah, dumbass. Of course I am. That's what the Second Amendment's there for.
Yeah.
Not to defend against some people.
Shooting close to Euston Station in London. 5 other people have been injured in the incident.
A peaceful memorial service that ended like this, as mourners ran screaming after a suspected drive-by shooting outside a church in Euston. 6 people were injured, 4 women and a 7-year-old girl in a life-threatening condition. A 12-year-old's also been discharged from hospital with a minor leg injury.
We heard like a loud, like up sound, and then, but I didn't really take anything into it. And then my friend was like, wait, was that a gunshot?
Queen Macaulay was visiting her friend in flats next to the church when she heard a gunshot and saw people running away.
We literally saw like people and like kids like running towards this direction. So we're like, nah, let's come back upstairs. But then while we were downstairs, we literally saw like this black Mercedes literally sped off.
Well, that's the same one. Wow. Wow. Give me another city, guys. That's crazy, man. That is crazy. London. Shootings. Sun shootings.
Maybe it is the music. Because you know they listen to the same garbage,
drill,
garbage.
Drill and shit, yeah. But I think it's I think it's the maybe guns are getting more guns are getting in there as it gets sunnier. Like it's getting very, very sand sunny and patelli.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest, like these lyrics about guns are fucking amazing. Unload the clip on the crowd. Yeah, I mean, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, they glorify violence.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, evidently.
You know, from what I've heard, and I'm not an England expert, but what I've heard watching other people that come from over there talking about it, they said, it's not the gun violence is worse than they let on. It's not like utopia, that there's guns out there. It's just not something they talk about a lot.
Oh, okay.
That's what I've heard from a couple different people. I don't know if that's factual or not, but I mean, they said it on the internet, so it's got to be true, right?
Yeah.
Hey, did you see the story I sent you about the glider who decapitated his newlywed?
Yeah, I saw that one in Houston. Yeah, or Texas somewhere, right?
I think it was in Texas. I don't know where,
Yeah.
but he was a glider.
Yeah.
Like, but we also abide by the drop of blood too. Maybe he was an hombrero by law.
Yeah, give me a city, man. Let's do a city before we get out of here, man. Let's get a good one. Chat, anybody?
Pick a city, any city.
Yeah, I'm looking at the chat now.
Somebody said you should get a dartboard. I just throw the dart.
He said Boston, man. He said capital city of California. DTLA. I have no idea what DTLA is.
Nate Campbell wanted you to do the Boston MLK statue.
Yeah.
It's like an abomination.
Oh, the Marxist statue?
It's horrific.
They say that was one of the pillars of the Marxism, right? Create statues that don't make sense or some shit.
You know what it looks like? It looks like that John Podesta art.
Well,
they literally said get rid of statues that have meaning and history and replace them with statues that make no sense.
Shapes.
Exactly.
Wow.
Well, they're
Another
doing
protest today in Cambridge calling for answers in the deadly shooting of a college student.
Justice! Justice!
20-year-old Saeed Faisal was shot last Wednesday. Officers say he lunged at them with a large knife. However, surveillance video and witnesses suggest that he was running away from officers trying to hurt himself. Community members.
Okay, so then they shot him and they helped him. Great assist, cops. Case closed.
Protesting the shooting, the DA's office confirms a judge will oversee an independent investigation into Faisal's death.
That kid, man. Fuck that kid, man. I don't give two shits, man. Fuck it. Who gives a shit? Fuck it. Let's see. What else is going on down here? Here we go. Here you go.
In the nation's oldest public park, Boston's newest work of art is inspiring conversations about racial and social justice in the city today. The Embrace honors the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Coretta Scott King and the love they built right here in Boston.
I feel hopeful and inspired.
After
what the fuck
he tried to marry a white woman, and his handlers told him that he wouldn't be able to be the leader of the burgeoning civil rights movement if he had a white wife. So they told him he had to find a black woman, and they hooked him up with a very, very, very fair-skinned woman named Coretta Scott, and she was basically a beard and the bearer of his children. And and I feel bad for him, man. He loved that white woman, man. He was with that white woman for years too. And
That's like Obama.
Imagine, well, that white woman, Obama, rejected him. Obama proposed and she rejected him twice.
Damn.
This woman like actually like loved Martin Luther King, and he loved her too, and it just wasn't. He they couldn't sell him, a guy from Boston, bred in Boston. They couldn't sell him to the South, the segregated South, with a white woman, and he had already been tapped to be the guy that was going to be who he was, and they just couldn't sell it, man. They said his handlers told him, "Look, man, you got to ditch the white girl." And so you can get you a high yellow broad, but you cannot. She got to have some black in her. And this is well documented. I've done several videos on this. I may put the video I did in the link in the back chat.
I never heard that before.
I feel affirmed. The 20-foot tall and 25-foot wide bronze sculpture depicts the embrace between Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Coretta Scott King after he won the Nobel Peace Prize in 1964.
I've never felt this sense of joy and excitement from people all over the place.
The work of art, aptly titled The Embrace, shines a light on the power of collective action and the role of women as leaders. Dr. and Mrs. King's 14-year-old granddaughter reflecting on the power of love.
This is almost like Love 360 because this monument is dedicated to their love, and we really need more love in this world.
Standing side by side with the architects who helped bring the embrace to life, artist Hank Willis Thomas says the sculpture is the work of many.
And everyone showed up to meet the moment, and everyone did their parts. So it's kind of amazing to actually get to witness the product of thousands of people's work.
Dr. and Mrs. King first met in Boston. One of their first dates was on the Common, where the embrace of their love and shared values now stands.
It already feels kind of timeless. It feels like it belongs there already.
More than 1,000 people were here as the embrace was unveiled for the first time. It stands in the 1965 Freedom Plaza here in the Common.
Am I wrong to think that if Dr. King heard most of these people's politics, it would make him sick? Don't they go the opposite of his teaching, like what he was all about?
I think it is all what he was about.
Yeah, you talking about a speech versus his politics.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm asking.
It would contradict his speech he made. Yeah, I mean, maybe.
So he didn't. He wasn't about that.
He was pretty woke for his time.
He was a communist. Let's just say it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, everything you read in your history book, they lied to you, dude.
Yeah, everything. Dude, I erased all my history.
But it's okay because I feel I was lied to too. We're in this together.
Yeah, let's see how it actually is for some people in America. It still is the 60s.
On your health and heartbreaking statistics. Babies born to black women.
It's pretty choppy, Chief.
Likely to die compared to white.
Oh, really? It's really choppy?
Oh, yeah, real bad.
Okay. The last one was choppy?
A little bit, yeah. They got worse.
Okay. Let me try to fix it, man.
But I'm excited for Dr. King's birthday,
I'm excited because I get the day off.
Must be nice.
It is. I never had before. Now I get it off, but it's, I don't know.
Oh, come on. We're coming up on the month where you get to hear about all those famous black inventors.
That's my favorite month, February.
Yeah,
they gave black people the shortest month of the year.
Because they racist.
Listen, man, it's we got so much to overcome still.
On your health and some heartbreaking statistics. Babies born to black women are more than twice as likely to die compared to white infants. And black women are more than 3 times as likely to die in or after pregnancy than their white counterparts.
What do I think about that?
Well, I mean, do they take into account conditions of birth? Like, are they just comparing? Are they making an apples comparison? Or are they just comparing, like, some white lady in the suburbs versus some?
No, these is true. No, this is actually true, man. Like the
biology.
My wife was just in the hospital, man. She had preeclampsia, a very, very hard pregnancy, man.
What causes that? Like what?
it's something that affects black women much more. Beyonce had a rough pregnancy. Serena had a rough pregnancy. Black women just are more like
Hypertensive.
yeah, we have our women die more, and the babies die more. It's everywhere in the world. It's not just America. They're trying to make it seem like it's America. Can you imagine Africa? In Africa, those babies die
But
all the time.
in the hospital your wife went to, was there no son, sister, staff in there?
Yeah, there's plenty of census. It's a great hospital, man, in DC.
Exactly.
My kids are half on Brito, but my oldest son was born with his liver on the outside of his body. We had a lot of trouble with her pregnancy, or that first one, but
Wow.
they
Yeah,
don't know what
same
caused
here.
it.
Same here.
Did you really? Yeah, so I don't
Yeah,
know.
my wife had that, but I mean, the staff were great, and it was a very diverse staff. I mean, all this is all bullshit what they're spewing. I think
They're trying to blame racism for
Exactly.
biological differences.
That's ridiculous. I just wonder, like you said, there was, obvious that there's real medical differences, right? Which I makes sense. But I'm always skeptical about these anytime they start quoting studies and numbers, because they don't give you the gist of it. They don't tell you what they're comparing. It's like the wage gap, was an example. You know what I mean? Like they don't compare hours worked, different
Well,
types
they
of jobs.
they interpret the studies the way they want to.
Exactly.
I think they said like in Black Americans there's a high rates of diverticulitis, but when they go into Africans who eat a traditional diet, they don't find it almost at all. So it's like when we're here and we're eating Western food and processed food, we're more likely to develop that. And it doesn't happen in Africa.
It doesn't happen in anywhere that they eat their native diets.
Up
It's
on your
pretty
health
much
and some heartbreaking
diverticulitis
statistics.
is a Western
Babies
thing.
born to black women are more than twice as likely to die compared to white infants. And black women are more than 3 times as likely to die in or after pregnancy than their white counterparts. Many health leaders are trying to reverse that trend. And here with some insight is Dr. Allison Bryant-Mantha, a maternal fetal medicine specialist and the Senior Medical Director for Health Equity at Mass General Brigham. Good morning, Dr. Bryant-Mantha. We talk a lot about access to care in communities of color. Are these startling statistics due to healthcare access issues?
Thanks, and good morning, Todd. I agree, it really is heartbreaking. It's really also completely unnecessary. So I'd say, sure, differences in our community's access to care is part of the problem, but there are really many others. It's also about how we treat people once they enter the doors of our healthcare system and how we listen to them.
They bend over backwards for black people when they come in. The thing is that we're different. So the system is made for the medical system is made mainly for white people, not made for them, but the studies, like most of the participants in the studies, most of the data is of white people because they're the majority population in this country. The black women gestate the babies differently. Like the baby which one stays in longer? Isn't it one that the baby stays in the womb longer?
I think Asians, tigers.
Is it tigers?
I think so.
You talked about it before.
I actually know this woman. She lives in my town, but yeah, this is like all the Sun people in Massachusetts. It's hilarious.
Yeah, because it's like it's like we're so different, but we all have doctors. A lot of doctors treat us as if we're the same, but we're so different as groups, even though we're the same species technically.
Was it the tigers are the R strategy for the K? Like the long term,
Yeah. So it says the average length of gestation is about 5 days shorter in black populations than the white populations. Okay, so they carry their baby. We carry our babies like a week less than white people, and that seems like nothing when you're talking about 9 to 10 months. But that's a lot, man. If you're talking about over like the little subtle differences like that show up big in the real world. And that's something that like you can't refute. No pro black can refute that because they have all the data from all the hospitals all over the world. Da, 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 da. No pro black can refute that. Now, only thing a pro black could do is say, "Yeah, that's because we come out earlier because of melanin and we the best and God." Da, da. But you can't refute that it actually is. So we cook the baby less. The baby stays in the womb less with us. Could that also have something to do with what we see in the world? The differences, the gaps in achievement, the gaps in development, the gaps in innovation? Maybe.
Also,
But
planning.
Don't black
Like if that,
babies hit physical markers faster?
black babies walk earlier, they talk
Yeah.
earlier, and they but they plateau at about 14. So black
mm,
babies, we hit all these markers before white babies, but then we plateau at 14. I mean, we flatten out. Like we're on this arc with development, and then when it comes to 14, it just flatlines. And so, is that why a lot of black, people, seem juvenile or whatever? I don't know. Maybe, but they have the studies now. Pro black could see that it's like, yeah, man, we walk faster because we black and melanin, we better than da 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 da. We talk earlier because we black and melanin, da 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 da. But then when you get to 14 and you plateau, well, of course, white people gonna say that because you know what I'm saying. Of course, they're gonna say that. I mean, it's weird, man. Lot, these things are not always race, man. You try to make everything. I mean, not race, but racism. These things are always. It's not racism. It's just is what it is, man. You know. We
I would
cook our
say
baby.
most of it's not racism at this point.
Yeah.
I
but
mean,
they're
not,
framing it as though the doctors are neglecting the
yeah,
black
they
women.
frame everything like that. But that's
Like
ridiculous.
you're a black woman, you come in the hospital, and they're doing all this neglect of black women, and nobody's got any cell phone videos. It just
I mean, but people really believe that black women walk in the hospital and the doctors are like looking at them going, "Psh, look at these some people over here. Like just make them wait. Just make them
yeah,
wait.
right.
Where's that white lady at?
Yeah, right.
Well,
It's
there's
not
only Asians
happening.
left. I guess we'll take an Asian before the some people.
Yeah,
Like
that's
that. I
not
mean, come on.
happening.
I
That's
mean,
not what's happening, man. That's not what happened, man. Let me get out of here, man. Salute, great show, guys, tonight. I'm gonna take one day off, either Sunday or Monday. So it's probably gonna be Monday. So I may be back tomorrow, but I gotta take a day off, man. Soon.
No days off, chief.
hey,
Yeah, man.
so is this every night? You do this every night, pretty much? What time?
I do it most nights, man. Um, I can't. You just have to check the community tab.
All right. I appreciate you.
Channel. Yeah, salute to you, man. Peace out, man. Take it easy.
Good
guys.
night, everybody.
Oh, good night.